It is 6 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. Women's college basketball. South Carolina earned the program's second national championship with a 64-49 victory over UConn last night. The Gamecocks, who went 14-0 against teams ranked in the AP Top 25 this season, became the 8th program to win multiple national titles. South Carolina also the 12th team to go wire-to-wire as number one in the AP poll and win it all. Men's national championship game tonight in North Carolina taking on Kansas. Tip-off set for 8:20. Our coverage, courtesy of Westwood One, begins at 6:30. And college baseball over the weekend. Number one Tennessee defeated Vanderbilt 5-0 yesterday at Hawkins Field, capping a weekend sweep of the doors. Tennessee 27-1 for the season, 9-0 in the SEC. It is the Vols' first sweep of Vanderbilt in Nashville since 2009. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
This will be one of them days.
Mama
told
said.
Mo right before the music started. I was like, you know what? I want to talk about sports today. Good thing that's not the job.
We're here for entertainment.
No. Looking at Golden Girl Gino with the hair that looks more just kind of puffy by the year. And as it's going gray, it's thank you for being a friend. And thank you for playing UConn.
Golden Girl Gino, I just got that.
Like the hair, she looks like Estelle. He looks like Estelle Getty.
Oh, Tennessee fans appreciate the slander.
Shady Pines, Gino.
Thank you for being a friend.
But all the people that were mocking Boston last year for missing the layup, not going to mock her anymore.
She kept her receipts, man.
Just like Virginia did the year after they got beat by 16 and won the national title. It's always important to remember if things don't go your way when you're that's not the end of the story unless you allow it to be. And South Carolina certainly wasn't having it because they were the better team going in.
Yep.
But because it's UConn and because Paige Beckers is just ice cold.
She is.
We're still going to watch this thing a little bit, and boy, you didn't have to watch it for long.
No.
You're like, nope, yeah, that's actually what I thought was going to happen. That's what should happen.
22-8 to start the game off, I think, in the first quarter, man. And then I settled in and started watching, and it's like, that South Carolina's that good, Jay.
Yeah, they are. Congrats to Dawn Staley, who I watched her entire college career at Virginia, and just solid.
She's just a friggin' savage, ain't she?
Solid.
Golly, like the one thing, watching the women's basketball tournament and just women's basketball in general, if you're a sports fan, you got to appreciate the way they play ball. Not just that, but just if you want to see ball played the correct way, you want to see hustle, you want to see the girls that have skill, and just the way they work the angles on the court, the way they work the angles off the backboard, the way they shoot and set up plays, the way they run. Like, it's so much pureness in the women's game that's get lost in translation in the men's game. Now, I know in the men's game, now I know, of course, the excitement of dunking and jumping and the three-point shooting and all those types of things, they matter. But, like, watching South Carolina Gamecocks last night and throughout this tournament and throughout the season, you're like, that's the way it's supposed to look, and that's what you want to watch. And I read some of Gino's comments this morning. He was hoping for luck. He was hoping for Stanford to try to beat him down a little. Like, he was hoping for a lot of things that he just don't have on his team now.
At least he gets it. Like, he's a smart guy. He knew how good they were.
Yeah.
And, I mean, his team just didn't have enough. Paige Beckers was the only UConn player to even hit double figures.
Cold,
she's great. She's fantastic.
She's cold-blooded, man. Like you said, her dribbling, her shooting.
She's great. She's fun to watch.
She
really has been fun to watch. But congrats to South Carolina. not really athlete. No, I'm just kidding. The way I toned that, that's the way I was saying it.
You were.
That's not really what I was trying to do. Shout out to Coach 30. But another SEC championship this year. Already had Georgia, South Carolina. Maybe Tennessee's going to bring home a College World Series.
Woo.
I watched Friday start to finish, basically.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
did?
Other than just, I don't like, once it gets to 4 or 5 runs, it's tough for me. But at least you had that Vitello bat crap early in the game. It's like, what is going on with
Kind of
this?
sparked it. And it was crazy. Tony showed his behind, and he had to.
He said, give me the bat.
Yeah.
Show me the bat.
But there's a method I found out that certain bats got to be certified. Same way in the NFL. Balls got to be they got to be.
Got to have a label on them.
Yeah,
They got to have
label
been
and-
seen and looked at and all this kind of stuff. But
And-
the weird thing was the sticker was on that bat.
Yeah.
So it's like, what happened here? Did
No,
somebody
they
take that
had
off a load of gum?
Who did they play in the week? East Carolina, I think, is who they played before, and they had that sticker on,
Okay.
and it wasn't a Tennessee or Vandy sticker, whichever one it was.
I understand why you would take a look at every bat that's going to be used.
It was
I will say
brought
this: it's just like, I bet they won't do that one again.
No, they won't.
If I tell them I'd have taken that bat off the side of that kid's head after the game too, but
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure one of the bats that they were able to use,
Yeah.
he would have hit that one out too.
he would have, and he just crushed it. There was no other way around it, man. The game was everything that people thought it was going to be. It was a bunch of bantering back and forth. It was a bunch of heckling, a bunch of just Tennessee hitting home runs there. Pitching, by the way, the kid Chase Burns, goodness gracious.
Yeah,
You saw him Friday,
Yeah.
man. For a freshman,
yeah, it's really impressive.
it was highly impressive. And not just him, just the entire weekend. They played real good ball. Won 5-0 yesterday. Ron Slay made his video. It was pretty solid, man. I don't know what to say about the team because if you get too high on them, it's like,
I think you.
how
I think
long
you
can
want
it
to
sustain?
I think this is what I saw your video.
We
saw the video. Abby showed it to me yesterday with the brooms and everything, and I'm just like, these are the videos that can come back to haunt you if
can.
indeed it doesn't work out, because you will see them again, most likely. Like, you can see how important Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker were to this iteration of Vanderbilt, because, and I think McIlvain's a pretty good pitcher, and he pitched well in the College World Series last year. It's just not the same. And when you don't have the ace on the mound in college baseball, last year Tennessee had Chad Dallas, and they had a couple of guys too, but Vandy had the dudes. And it just looked different. Everybody's playing with more confidence. It's like having Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or somebody like that as your quarterback, or having Ben against some rookie starter or something like that. It's just, there's a different level of, it's not arrogance. It's just, we know we can win with that guy.
Yeah. And Jay, I hadn't even thought of that point of like the difference between Vandy this year and last. They're still a top 10 team.
Yeah, I mean, they were number 9, but it just, they don't have that edge that comes from having Roger Clemens. That comes from having that dude.
That guy.
That can get you through.
And not only just that, Jay, but like you said, the pitcher that Vandy has now is I think he's good. Really good.
I agree with you.
He's real good. But I think what Vandy has had for a little while, especially having Kumar and Leiter, was, man, we'll get one. But they got 2 of them?
Right.
And I, no lie, walking in the ballparks now with my kids, I'm like, okay, how much pitching we got? Who's pitched the day before? Because if we're loaded up with our pitchers that hadn't thrown a whole lot, it's like, okay, we're going to compete. And I think that's across the board from the time they start throwing the ball, Jay, all the way to now we're watching college and MLB. The bullpen matters in friggin' MLB. So if you walk into a stadium, it's like, okay, we got our horses today. You feel a whole lot more confident. I, to your point, Jay, think that is the separator right now between Vandy and Tennessee. Tennessee's got 4 legit guys on the mound that are throwing gas with a closer. 103, Jay?
And they have a lot of guys back. I didn't realize just how many of the guys from last year's team. They've got dudes that are a little bit battle-tested that have gone through that have also seen success, but they're guys that went to Omaha and it didn't go well for them up there. They look like they've been there before. Not that Vanderbilt doesn't have guys that were there last year as well. But
because Enrique?
Yeah, exactly.
Friggin' phenomenal, man.
He's an awesome player.
That kid is nice.
Yeah, he's an awesome player. Tennessee has the right look right now. Now, does that mean they're going to win? No, because we've seen a year where Cincinnati made the college football playoff, where an 8-seed North Carolina is in tonight's national championship game against Kansas, which we will discuss in the next segment. And where Cincinnati ended up making the Super Bowl out of the AFC.
Right.
It's not the number one seed or the best team or whatever like that gets there. But right now, Tennessee has the look of a champion. They have the look of a veteran-led team that has just been clutch. I mean, really, if you look at the results, it's just they were just the better team all weekend, just like they were against Ole Miss the week before. And credit to Tony V and credit to the program, because it's not easy to go into Vanderbilt and sweep them.
No, not like that. And especially as hostile as that crowd was, there was a good bit of orange in there, but the Vandy faithfuls came out in droves to watch this game. I saw people standing outside of the stadium trying to watch it. It was a hot ticket, and we knew that because, heck, it was over, $300-$400 for a ticket or two.
There were people in the parking deck, like, standing on top of the deck to see down like it was Wrigley at Cubs games or something like that.
But you know what I appreciated at the end of it? Ben McKee posted a video, and it was Tony Vitello and Vandy's coach, Tim Corbin, after the game, after the series was done yesterday on Sunday, and it was cordial. It was, I don't know what Corbin said, what they said to each other, but it was a lot of head nodding, hands on hips, handshake at the end of it, like total respect. Like it was an old pat on the back. It's like, you guys have a good time. I'm guessing that's what the conversation was, and the battle of what it took to actually come into Nashville and beat them on the West End like that. That's the part I like and respect the most, because again, Tennessee can come out very brash, Jay, and how they operate and the way they're playing so far. But as you said, the same way Don is with South Carolina Gamecocks, the women, when you're just good at that moment, you just got to respect it and move on.
Sometimes you just tip your hat because they've got stars too, and when they're showing up, there's just times when somebody's a little bit better than you on that night. Tonight, national championship game. It'll be heard right here on 104.5 The Zone. North Carolina and Kansas, they've met in the Final Four before. They're meeting for the big prize today, but the big story is the team that's not playing. And so we will talk about what was an instant classic on Saturday night, how it ended, some of the takes that personally kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Kenny Smith, who I really like, said something I just completely disagreed with after the game. So we'll talk about some of that as well. Just a wild weekend in the world of sports, to say the least. And we will continue along that line when we come back. Jayson Swain's going to join the program a little bit later on today. Look forward to having Swain event as he's embarking on something new. And something probably long overdue.
Man, yes, indeed.
It's really awesome. And then David Ubben will join us in the third hour of the show. 615-737-1045 if you have any thoughts on what you saw this weekend. We'll be back. It's JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Hey, I want to talk to you about hair loss. PAI Medical and what they can do for you. They've already done it for thousands of men and women in our area because they've been here for over 25 years. They're experts at what they do. Simply nobody better. I knew people in the building that had gone to them, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to check them out, just see what they're all about. So I sat down with them, and they said, hey, look, your crown's thinning a little bit. Here's what we can do for you. And I said, let's do it. And I'm really starting to see results now, about 5 months or so after the procedure. And I am thrilled to be able to tell you PAI Medical works. Surgical, non-surgical, they've got absolutely everything. Plus, they've got affordable payment plans that fit anyone's budget. The technology has come an awfully long way. And this is not phony stuff. It's your own hair. It's just being moved into different spots. It's cells being rejuvenated. It's your own blood. It's all of these things. And these people are the absolute best at it at PAI. Plus, they're great dudes. You sit down with these men and women, you're going to just enjoy being around them. And then when you see what they can do for you, you're going to feel like, wow, I'm glad I came here. All they do is hair. They're the very best at it. Call 615-376-6010. That's 615-376-6010. Or you can go here, wegrowhair.com. That's a website and get you all started. Do it. That's what I did. wegrowhair.com. Hey, this is a time of year when Genesis Diamonds really sparkles. Every day they seem to be getting in new jewelry in both locations, fresh new designs from the best names in the world, straight from the design studios in New York and LA. Cutting edge, new trends, fresh new looks, just in time for spring brides, anniversaries, graduations, all other special events. Genesis is the area's leader when it comes to staying ahead of the curve, not just new designs and fashion-forward jewelry, but unrivaled selection that's there that you don't have to call ahead to see. Unbeatable value prices. Non-commissioned consultants, which is still my favorite thing, in addition to the quality of the products there. Industry-leading warranties and guarantees and a fun, fresh, engaging shopping experience. You're absolutely going to love Genesis. It's the only jewelry store I believe in. It's the only one I will shop. They make it easy to find the perfect piece of jewelry for any occasion, and you're always guaranteed to get the best value price. Hands down, no contest. Also for the spring, new luxury pre-owned Rolexes coming in daily. These are the hardest ones to get. Pre-owned Rolexes in pristine condition. All the hard-to-find models. Genesis has got them. You're going to look good with that Rolex on. So get your spring bling at Genesis Diamonds. It's my jewelry store. It needs to be yours. 2 locations, Green Hills and Cool Springs, voted over and over year after year as the best jewelry store in Middle Tennessee. Have a daughter, they said.
This is the perfect intro song because Jay got a story to tell.
No, I don't know that I do.
Yeah.
Let's just say Saturday she was up for 16 hours straight.
Ooh.
Because she's not really napping right now.
You like that? You like that?
6:45. Abby's going to work on a Saturday, which she has to do that from time to time. And so she's hoping that CG will sleep for me until about 8 because it's my long day. And 6:45, I start hearing noise. I look up and I look over in front of the bed. There's Claire Grace standing in her pack and play looking at me, checking her watch.
Yeah.
I'm the captain now.
Yeah.
That's basically what it was. Basically what it was.
I can't believe your child, who ain't even a year old, has broken the nap schedule. She don't know, Jay.
Oh, man.
I'm the captain now.
She is the captain now. It's shame. I don't know if I've ever heard of a baby not taking a nap. Like that's
No, there. She the problem now is she'll nap, but only if you nap with her. Like you can't just put her down and walk out.
Ooh.
Teething or just. I've played a lot of hard video games. I've done obstacle courses. The toughest task is once she falls asleep with you while you like have her on the bed or something like that, is picking her up, getting her to that pack and play, and exiting the room before she wakes up. Because the second she wakes up, it's over. The key is, like, you've got to lay her down, hope her eyes roll back in her head, and then she rolls over on her stomach because that's how she sleeps, and then she's out. But the problem is, once she rolls over, if she starts to move her head to like up, it's over.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't give herself a chance to sleep. Like when her head goes up, she immediately crawls over, and the next thing you know, she's standing up. And once she's standing up, then the whole process has to start over again.
Man, Jay, I really you just got to go through it.
I know. I know. It's not abnormal. It's just, good Lord, man.
You got to go through it, man.
Just like Duke went through it.
That's good. Just like Duke, just like UConn. You got to go through it, man.
Everyone be quiet.
That'd be Coach K. He's going to be quiet.
He's going to be real quiet.
So here's the take I disagree with. North Carolina won a game. I was kind of pulling for them. That was the school I had hoped to attend, but my math and physics decided I was going to not go there. So I went to NC State. Good school as well, but I wanted to be a Tar Heel. And in that game, which was a classic, like 19 lead changes, it was just going back and forth. People were making shots. Both sides. Defense wasn't elite in that game, but I kind of wanted to see scoring because the first game was just garbage. Kansas blew Villanova's doors completely off early. We're up 18 before you knew it. Credit Villanova for cutting it to 7.
Yeah.
But Kansas was just dominant in that game. So that wasn't fun. But the second game was everything you wanted. You waited 36 years.
Yeah.
Or 36 NCAA tournaments to get that game. And then it comes down to the final couple of minutes. But here's Kenny Smith's take after the game. He said he wanted North Carolina to win because, well, obviously, because he went there and everything else. He said, but I didn't want it to be because somebody played bad. I didn't want it to be because somebody for Duke didn't do something and Carolina took advantage. And I was like, did you watch the same game I did? Because I'm not saying this is why they lost. But the 2 missed free throws from Mark Williams late in that game when Duke was down 1, that's what I'm going to remember. They missed 3 of their last 4 free throws, but that kid missed that guy who's a stud, missing those 2 after being in foul trouble in the first half. I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm saying there are people that will argue until the end of time that the reason they lost that game was because Mark Williams couldn't make those 2 free throws. Or at least one of those free throws. They shot 12 of 20 from the line in that game.
Yeah.
They did not shoot well down the stretch. I don't know how many Duke teams have been great at the line down the stretch because they get the fundamentals right. In this situation, they didn't. You add to that Caleb Love and Baycott having another 20 rebound night.
Yeah.
And them just in the end, playing more solid basketball, Carolina won the game, but those free throws were massively important.
Yep.
And that was a moment where the Duke guy didn't do the thing that he needed to do to put Duke in the position to win that game in the last minute and a half.
Yeah, I'm sitting there watching that game, and Ron was just like, you see it on his face when he missed the free throws. Mark Williams, like you see it on his face that he was gonna miss them. Like it was just stoic. Like, boy, I hope I do this. Like it wasn't an ounce of confidence in his delivery of those free throws, man. For him to miss them down the stretch, and then they go right back down, I think, and got fouled and go up by 4 at that point. I was just like, I didn't realize that they had actually put a gap between them and Duke at that point in time either. And you're right, the free throws down the stretch wasn't good at all for them, man. And it wasn't much they could have done other than sink them, because North Carolina had all the momentum. Freaking Caleb Love, dude, was in another world. And then you had Baycock, who was pretty much out of the game, and was like, I'm not going out. There's absolutely no way I'm going out of this game.
And it looked like he was done. It looked like he was done. Then you saw him sprinting to the locker room.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. Then you come back out of the timeout, and he's on the floor making a defensive rebound.
Exactly. And it's everything that you wanted it to be. Like, they understood the assignment, as people say, when it comes down to playing Duke, when it comes down to that Final Four. And also it puts Coach K, 50-50? So he can't even go out on top when it comes down to his series against North Carolina.
I said this Saturday. I gave the bookstore for North Carolina, which I've been to many, many times in Chapel Hill, some advice. I said, you can sell this shirt for eternity.
Yeah.
You can have my idea, but I should patent it and sell it because it will never not work. Carolina blue T-shirt, white lettering, all caps, retired. And the I in a shadow is a K.
Oh.
And it's in Duke blue. Because you have the ultimate trump card.
You do.
You
Two times.
beat him at home in his final home game, and then you ended his career. And nobody other than North Carolina deserved to potentially end Coach K's career. The first loss that he ever had as a coach came to North Carolina. The last loss he had as a head coach came to North Carolina. The last home loss came to North Carolina. It's been back and forth. That's been the rivalry. But I don't care how much success Duke has or how much they've had. The Duke kid that goes to the Carolina kid and tries to talk crap, the comeback is real simple. Hey, man, where's Coach K?
He's trumped.
Because Carolina retired him, ended his career. It will never not be history. I don't know what Hubert Davis is going to do long term. I don't know what John Shire is going to do long term at Duke. But I know that win Saturday is 10 times more important than them winning the championship tonight, because I grew up in that area. I know what Duke Carolina means. I know what it was. Did you see Franklin Street?
Yeah.
I mean, they were
Stormed
celebrating like they had
man.
already won. It's very.
They had helicopters. Jay, they knew what this game.
Yes.
They had helicopters above watching their celebration on campus, dog. I'm thinking to myself, how do you even plan this out? To your point, that shows the significance of what that moment was. And all I can think of, anybody who's ever thought about going to North Carolina, they're going to go now. The admissions is going to be up because of things like this. Like, them storming the streets, Jay, does more for that university, I think, than almost anything else. Of course, the win against Duke crushes everything about
They
those
rushed
two
the
schools.
court at the Smith Center
Yeah.
in Chapel Hill. Like, there is no bigger win than this. And look, if I'm Bill Self, yesterday, my job was showing footage from Franklin Street. Say, hey, man, they already think they've won the championship.
Yeah.
And then I would say, maybe they did win their championship. Let's go win ours tomorrow night.
Oh, my.
And then Hubert Davis, yesterday, I think, probably had the toughest job that he's ever going to have in getting those kids to refocus and say, look, what just happened, we can't worry about that. We've got one more. We need to finish this thing off right, because what you have to do now if you're North Carolina is the 8 seed. And I think Villanova's the only other 8 that actually won it, that made it this far, and it's only been like 2 or 3 others. You cannot, because how many semifinals have been historic? Well, the Miracle on Ice was a semifinal. Duke against UNLV, the year that they won their championship against Kansas, was their first championship with Coach K. That one was a semifinal. a lot of semifinals turn out to be the things that we talk about. Kansas tonight, you have to win this thing.
Yeah.
If you're Carolina, you have to win this thing. And you just have to wonder, if you got up that much for that game, and then 2 days later, you also have to get up for this one.
Sure.
And this one doesn't hit the same as the Duke game does.
Mm-hmm.
That will be the story if Carolina loses. And that's sort of disrespectful to Kansas in it, because Kansas is a very good basketball team that is peaking at the right time.
Oh.
It's going to be a challenge for North Carolina to win that basketball game tonight. I just hate the thought that you would go through this tournament and do the kinds of things that you've done. Hubert Davis, that comeback to make sure that you somehow beat Baylor is still the most impressive thing I saw in this tournament. Right there with St. Peter's finishing off Kentucky in overtime, but both of those teams going to overtime and being the teams that won, to me, were surprising. You have to finish this job. You have to. And there is a very plausible scenario, because we saw it last year. How much energy did Carolina extend Saturday night to beat Duke?
Saturday night?
A lot, right?
Everything, man. The emotions of it from the beginning. No, think about the lead up to the game. We had, dude, and I don't think we talked about this enough. The significance of this game. Eric Church.
Yeah.
I know we brought it up a little bit, but like he canceled a whole entire concert, Jayson. Like not just a side like 1,500 venue. No. This dude, thousands of people to go to this game. And I tweeted out after the fact, I guess he was right. He witnessed a moment, him being a North Carolina fan, right? Mm-hmm. Watching Coach K, like they could give a damn about how Coach K feels, right? Like that's the thing about about the North Carolina Duke matchup is they don't care about feelings. It's who's finna win.
That's right.
And the emotions of that team, them having to either suppress it, them either try to focus in, like the energy to that, not even just on the court, the energy to actually get to the moments where it's just, okay, let's put our blinders on. And then they had to go play the game. And then the emotions of the game. The back and forth, what was it, 17 lead changes?
19.
19 lead changes. Like, that's a lot of energy, Jay.
It is, and I think that all you have to do is look to last year. Baylor beat Houston pretty convincingly in the Final Four. In the other game, Gonzaga needed the Jalen Suggs shot to knock off UCLA in overtime. Had to give all they had. You know what happened on that Monday?
What's that?
Baylor beat the brakes off Gonzaga.
Flat.
That could happen.
Yeah.
Because Kansas is good enough, especially with Ubaji inside and the way they shot threes on Saturday so efficiently. Carolina doesn't strike me as a team that's going to get beat that way because they had talent and it's coalescing the right way at the right time. The same thing could be true of Kansas. But it's all gravy at this point for Hubert Davis this year. Like it's for that team. If they lose, okay, like they've already won because of everything that they've already accomplished. I don't think that that's how Hubert is going to coach it. I don't think that's the way he's going to teach it. I do think it's a different task to convince that team from Saturday night, hey, Monday we got to handle that one.
Yeah.
Because how do you? I don't know how you. Because you're not going to get the energy level that you got Saturday night. You're just not. You're not going to get it from the crowd either.
Well, watching that stadium, by the way, all blue color tones too in the buildings. Like that says something about blue bloods being blue, like the entire arena was just that. Now, I push back a little bit and say this is a national championship. When's the last time Carolina been?
It hasn't been that long.
It hadn't been that long for them?
Mm-mm. It's been a long time since they won it. Since they lost to Villanova.
Yeah, exactly. So for them, I think the motivation is there to actually compete and try to prove themselves. Because in this one, to me, when you're looking at them between them and Kansas, it's almost like, you guys are almost lucky just to be here in a sense. Because that Duke game could have went any other way too. But Kansas pretty much just sold it up from the beginning to the end of what they had to get through in this Final Four competition. But I think they'll compete. I just think we'll see early in the second half, Jay, if Kansas is who we think they are, they'll start to take over at that point. I don't know if they'll have the runs the same way they did against Duke.
I don't know. Well, the best three halves that have been played in the tournament so far are probably Kansas's second half against Miami and their entire game against Villanova.
Yeah.
In terms of 3 consecutive halves like
Right.
that. But they're going to need, because this Carolina team is playing with a different confidence right now, and I think they're playing as a unit, and their stars have shown up. I mean, I don't think we've seen the best from Brady Manick, and if he shows up and shows out tonight, then I don't think Carolina loses. But Kansas is the team that I have just kind of underappreciated going into this tournament. And it was suggested to me, no, you really didn't, because they lost some games they shouldn't have lost, and they weren't all that impressive during the regular season. They just now look like the team that many picked in the preseason to win the whole daggone thing. I think the more interesting thing was that Paolo Banchero never was able to put his imprint on that game, considering how great a player he is. He was the most talented dude left in the field.
Yes.
Maybe the most talented dude in the field before it started.
Yep.
He never, like, he was good. He had 20 and 10.
I know,
but there was no dominance there. Like, there had to be a moment where he grabbed that game by the throat and said, I'm carrying you home, and he couldn't do it.
It was so many times also he got the ball, dribble, pass. And I'm thinking to myself, no, these are your moments right here, kid. Like, if there's anybody to do it, is him, and he kind of just went ghost a little bit. Was that the young guy in him?
Maybe.
You know, was it him deferring to the older guy? I'm thinking to myself, like, why? Why not you? Nobody's going to blame you if you miss. But because you're the guy, like you said, the most talented guy out there. And he pretty much got out just shined by, like I said, Manick had awesome shooting display, especially although he missed those free throws.
He made a couple key threes.
Yes, he did. But the guy that pretty much stole the show to me was one, Baycott coming back out was huge for Carolina. But Caleb Love.
Yeah, he's
the
done
floater,
it twice in this tournament, man.
I'm thinking to myself, this running floater they got to practice it now. Like, if you don't have the running floater in your toolbox as a point guard, I think you're lacking, because to be able to shoot that over defenders, driving to the goal, driving to the basket, to get an and one sometimes, I'm thinking to myself, like, that, my coach hated it. When I played in middle school, like, hated the floater. Like, the running, no, don't you ever do the running floater. And to see how big of a shot it is for kids these days, Jay, is amazing to me.
Well, I mean, Tony Parker made a whole career out of a version of it with the teardrop. Like, there are guys that have made a lot of money in the league by possessing that shot because it's so hard to block.
Yeah.
And look, there's a high degree of difficulty when you're at full speed and you're able to make that happen. But Caleb Love, Carolina doesn't get past UCLA without Caleb Love scoring 27 in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
We have gotten used to now twice in this tournament, whoever's on the floor covering the game for Turner, interviewing Caleb Love after the game with his head down, listening to the questions. They may need it again because Kansas is going to be a test.
Yeah,
that's going to be a challenge. I'm just hoping we get a close game. I want to see a dogfight tonight.
Yeah, line tonight is Kansas by 4. The over-under
Duke
is
was 4.5 on Saturday
and
over Carolina, just to point it out.
they're that close.
Well, I'm just saying, the
Yeah.
line is one
Yeah.
thing. Carolina has destroyed some lines in this tournament.
Yeah, over-under is 152 for this game too, so
I hope so. That'd be a good ball
that'd be
game.
a real good ball game with it.
Yeah, that would work. I'd be good with the 77-75 finish.
Ooh.
My math, is that right?
Yeah, you close.
Now, Carolina should have let me in.
Should have let you in.
Shouldn't have gotten waitlisted, man.
Dang, you ain't want to go back? You ain't want to transfer out?
No.
At that point, it's
I
like,
had
screw
other
'em.
stuff happen at that point, but, whatever. You want me the first time? You ain't going to get me now.
Don't get me now. So you rooting for Kansas tonight?
No, definitely not. My head tells me I'm going to pick them because of all the circumstances that we just discussed. But
yeah.
I could easily make an argument for Carolina being the hot team that comes in and wins it all. And I love Hubert Davis. I loved him as a player, loved him as an analyst, love him as a dude, love the fact that he's a believer and he's outspoken about that and uses that. I'm a big fan of him. But I don't really have anything against Bill Self as a guy. I don't think he's a great tournament coach, but I thought Jay Wright was, and Jay Wright couldn't beat him on Saturday. But Bill Self said, hey, we got to start winning championships around here because he knows they have had 1 seeds and not cashed in just for history's sake.
Right.
36 tournaments. Of the last 36, 23 have been won by a 1 seed.
Wow.
I don't know what that percentage is. I'm not going to try to do it live on the air. But that means 13 times it hadn't been won by a 1, but oftentimes a 1 does win this tournament.
By the way, people are asking for your take, Jay, on WrestleMania.
Well, we can do it. We'll do it to end the hour then.
I saw a good bit of it this weekend also.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wearing the Roman Reigns shirt today, so we can talk about it. We'll talk about it. It was 2 days and like 15 hours.
Yeah.
That was a lot. But we'll talk about it when we come back. 615-737-1045. 737-1045. Wherever you want to take it, you certainly can. We'll be right back. It's JMart and Ramon, 1045 The Zone. Hey, tax season. It is April the 4th, folks. Tax season is a headache, but if you can navigate it right, you can turn the tables in your favor. Have you ever even considered that it might be leverage to make home ownership or investment goals a reality? I want you to use your tax refund towards a down payment. Then you can actually turn an obligation into something that's working for you, for your family, for your dreams. If your home's starting to feel small, maybe you need a larger space. It's more within your reach than you'd think. If that's a bigger home on a mortgage that works for you, if it's a refi, if you just want to add a guest room or some kind of addition, whatever it is, it's possible. And with that refund right around the corner, you just have to make sure that you have the right guys on your side to get you taken care of. As a Southeast leading mortgage lender, Mortgage Investors Group is here to help you get not just any home loan, but the right home loan. The MIG team of mortgage experts cares. They're committed to helping you close on time, structure things right, realize your dreams. Their goal is to help you achieve yours. New home, better rate, big addition to your current home. Whatever it is, they're going to make it a reality. Let them work for you. Go to migonline.com for Mortgage Investors Group. migonline.com. Find the office nearest you or text MIG to 31399. That's MIG to 31399 to get pre-qualified. Mortgage Investors Group, the right home loan, equal housing lender, license number 109111.
Join our friends 3HL at First Horizon Park as they broadcast live from the National Sound season opener and block party coming up Tuesday before the game. Plus, listen for your chance to win National Sounds tickets and more. Tickets for the National Sounds 2022 season on sale now at nationalsounds.com. For more info, visit 1045thezone.com/events today.
Thank you, Mr. Schaefer. JMart and Ramon, 1045 The Zone. All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville, making it possible. 11-year NFL veteran involved for life, Ramon Foster, and the aforementioned Mr. Schaefer.
Mr. Schaefer.
I'm Jayson Martin. I'm going to start calling him Mr.
Even at 40 years old, Mr. Schaefer still sounds weird.
Just sounds like you're like a calculus teacher.
It does.
European
math,
history,
though.
Mr. Schaefer.
Mr. Schaefer.
I enjoyed American history.
Talk about German castles today.
You weren't a math dude, Schaefer?
Not really.
That's why we're doing this. Not really athlete.
Yeah. Once they started throwing letters in there, I didn't understand.
Not
how that
really
was
a
math.
mathlete.
Not really an athlete.
I mean, they said calculus, and I just
Pissed down my leg.
Man, my first time fell in a class, well, yeah, I say I got a D in it, was geometry. I had to go to summer
proofs
school.
and all of that
Oh,
stuff.
my God.
hated that.
I had to go to summer school. I actually failed in math class in high school, too. That's why I got waitlisted at Carolina. It's just one. And I ended up getting an A when I went through it the second time. But I just didn't
Ooh,
apply,
yeah,
and I hate
same.
math.
Hate it
here.
Man, geometry just got me that year. And when I tell you I was trying, like, dog, a D, and I'm like, Miss Massengill, a D. Like, the most embarrassing thing ever. You had to go to summer school? Like, I had to go to summer school, Jay. And let me tell
Not
you.
summer. I had to go to a night class or something like that during the week
Nah.
to get that credit.
What were some? So I think like maybe 3-4 weeks. And I know for sure my mama used to leave me there on purpose. Because I stayed out in the country. There's no buses running. Summer school's like, okay, you get the pass, but you got to go to school during the summer. And boy, waiting for my mom to come pick me up after summer school was probably the worst. I honestly, looking back on it, I can't believe I actually had to go to summer school. Like, I made a D in geometry, man. That is still one of the more embarrassing moments of my young adult life. No, my young life, not adult. What did you make for you to go to summer school? You remember?
It was a D or
It was a D?
something like that. I think it was, like I said, it was a night class. I needed to get that credit. It's just math was just annoying. If you told me to write, I could write. If you told me to speak, I could speak. You told me to give you like perfect calculations. I don't know what it was, but I would make careless mistakes and get to the end, and it was that's what it was.
That's what geometry did to me. And oh my gosh,
That's math, man.
you know they're teaching like algebra like in like 7th grade now. Like we didn't get that until like freshman year.
I had pre-algebra in 7th grade.
Yeah,
You
pre-algebra
did?
in
Yeah,
7th.
And then geometry, I think, was 8th.
I had geometry in 10th.
I had
Tennessee education.
I think geometry was 7th, pre-algebra was 8th, or flipped.
I think
One of
trig
the
was
two.
9th or 10th, something like that.
Yeah. Now I was the honors kid. I mean, I'll be real with you. Sports got to me too. I started lacking a little bit, so that didn't help play into it. But my master, she was hard on me, man. She was super hard. But I had her dad in science, Mr. Meacham, super great guy. Love Mr. Meacham. This master was hard on you, boy, man. Whew. It's tough, Jay. It's tough.
I don't remember the math teachers.
You don't? Because you just over them in general.
Like I vaguely remember having them.
There was Mr. Reed, Mrs. Schwab, Mr. Best, Mr. Himes. Those are the ones I remember. I don't know if there's more than that, but yeah.
My other Miss Webb. Miss Webb was my pre-cal teacher. She was good. She also did tell me too if I didn't get my act together, because I was starting to feel myself a little bit. She was, you don't get your act together, you can play all the football you want to play, but you're gonna what she say? You're gonna have to be a whole lot better in life than you're gonna be a whole lot better in life than you are in football. And I was like, well, I'll just do both. No, but I remind her every time I see her, I appreciate that, because she ticked me off, and it was on game day too. It was on a Friday night. She pulled me to the side. I think I just made like a C on a test. And she pretty much just got me before game day. I was chapped. Did not want to hear that going into a Friday Night Lights game, Jay.
5 too slow.
Abby was all about math.
Was she?
She's a doctor now.
Whoa, yeah.
So she's going to be the one doing the homework.
And math is different these days.
Because
Have you you see the way they do stuff?
Unfortunately, yes.
It makes sense, but does it?
No, I don't even want to get deeply into it, but
weird.
I got massive problems
With an H. Weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just different, man.
No doubt. So, next hour in the program, I'll bring it up again because it froze on me. Jayson Swain.
Swizzy got a new gig, man.
He does.
Making his debut on this show.
Yeah.
Debut
today. I have high hopes for what I think that could be.
Yeah, me too.
Two people I like a lot. They're going to be combining forces in the afternoons in Knoxville. So we will talk to Swain, and we can talk to him, obviously, about what happened this weekend with the sweep and everything else that's going on as spring practice is happening and stuff's going down. And then David Ubben will join us in the third hour as well. Still nothing on the cornrows.
Why will he not show us? It's got to be somewhere.
I'm disappointed.
I want to see.
I
him
might
look
just
like.
do nothing but talk about that with him because I don't really have any interest in
I
other topics.
I can't imagine him looking like Bow Wow. Not even. Cornrows, absolutely not. Bow Wow, twice. No.
He looked a little bit like Bow Wow.
You think?
A little. Like 15%.
The head is more round now, though.
It's definitely a rounder head. 615-737-1045.
Find God.
737-1045. We didn't talk WrestleMania right there, but we will. I promise. I'm going to answer the questions that people are asking. So we'll talk about that after the headlines. JMart and Ramon, 1045 The Zone.
Spring weather in the South can get a little complicated. One day it can be warm or even hot, and you need to turn your air conditioner on. But at night it can get chilly, and you need a little bit of heat to keep the house warm and comfortable. And it's Ramon Foster. I have the heating and cooling company that can take care of all of your HVAC needs, and it's Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. They have over 20 years of experience serving all of southern Middle Tennessee. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling is a family-owned and operated company that prides itself for outstanding customer service. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling offers cost-effective solutions such as free service calls for repairs and free estimates on replacement systems. They back their work also with 10-year parts and labor warranties and up to 72 months of no interest on new installs. Be ready for the spring or the summer or anything that may come your way by getting the best indoor air quality thanks to Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. They have 2 locations to serve you in Columbia and Lyles and available anytime at springhillac.com. Go talk to the people I know at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
7:03. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. Women's college basketball. South Carolina earned the program's second national championship with a 64-49 victory over UConn last night. The Gamecocks, the 12th team to go wire to wire as number one in the AP poll and win it all. Also the 8th program to win multiple national titles. Men's national championship tonight, North Carolina taking on Kansas. Tip-off set for 8:20. Our coverage courtesy of Westwood One begins at 6:30. College baseball over the weekend. Yesterday, number one Tennessee defeated Vanderbilt 5-0, capping a weekend sweep of the doors. Tennessee now 27-1 for the season, 9-0 in the SEC. It is the Vols' first sweep of Vanderbilt in Nashville since 2009. Tiger Woods says it will be a game-time decision on whether he competes in the 86th Masters, which is scheduled to begin on Thursday. Racing, Denny Hamlin ran down William Byron with 5 laps to go to win the Toyota Owners 400 at Richmond Raceway. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? Hour number 2, JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Ramon Foster is laughing, sort of, into a microphone. Jonathan Schaefer, Mr. Schaefer. I'm Jayson Martin.
Mr. Schaefer.
At Ramon Foster, at Schaefer on Sports, at JMart Radio, at JMart and Ramon. Jason Swain. Swain event will join us in the next segment on the morning of his debut on the Sports Animal. What are you laughing at, Mo?
Somebody put in the chat, Coach 401K. I thought that was pretty funny. 401K, Coach K. He's got to go into retirement now.
Well, I think he's going to be all right.
He's real good.
I'm waiting for – it won't happen, I don't think, because I think if it would have happened with the Lakers back in 2002. But I'm waiting for the first speculative take of NBA interest in Coach K. It will happen. He won't be the one that generates it, but people in this industry, it's going to be talked about immediately. He's coached more NBA players than just about anybody because of USA Basketball, and he had the opportunity to coach the Lakers after Phil left, and he would have had Kobe. And he even said in interviews through the years, that's the closest I came to taking that gig. There was a time he thought he was going to join the Celtics as well, but now that he's in his 70s and everything, I don't think he will, but it will be speculated about.
No, 100%.
No question.
Everybody loves the retired coach, right? I mean, look at Gruden. How did that turn out? I don't make fun of what he did. I'm just saying, sometimes leave the retired coaches alone, man.
See Daniel Snyder. Now there's some possibility they were holding back revenue.
What?
That it was supposed to be going to the rest of the owners. So now that might be enough to get him out. Everything else that he's done, not. But now that he's potentially costing these other owners money.
Don't play with the money, huh?
Yeah, being a slimeball human being didn't matter, but now you take it out of our pockets, now you got to go.
Yeah, exactly. That's like, you might be trash. We can work with trash. Trash. Did you take a cent out of my bank account? Now you got to go. Now I got to cut you. That's the rule.
Now I got to cut you. Is that what it is? Holding back revenue? Oh my gosh, the almighty
It's like money that's
dollar.
supposed to go to some collective. I don't know. Somehow they are finagling it so that he hasn't been doing what he's supposed to do. It's the equivalent of NFL tax evasion, I think.
Golly. But still, every other thing that he did, Jay, they had to change their names. They had to go get Carson Wentz. No, it was holding back a couple dollars to some billionaires. Now we got to cut you. Way to go, Schneider. I'm proud of you, man. He continues to just be the front of every scandal. Washington football team, I still want to call them that, man. Not the Commanders, the Washington Commanders. What do you call them, Jay? The Commanders now? We got to call them
Commanders. So I want to call. I wish they just kept Washington football team because I like that.
Yeah, I did too.
Rich Samhini wrote a piece about the Jets catching a rising star at wide receiver. ESPN, longtime Jets reporter, and the two guys mentioned, could A.J. Brown or DK Metcalf become available? And then it talks about Seahawks are telling teams Metcalf isn't available. Brown is the name to watch because of the Titans cap situation. Let's analyze. So it goes into detail about how they can get A.J. Brown. That's what ESPN is writing today.
Why is AJ's name getting thrown around so much?
Because he's another guy that's a great wide receiver that's about to get paid by somebody.
As of late, just on social media, I know you're not dabbling all the way in, like back and forth with it, but Jay,
not at all.
A.J. Brown name has been brought up more on social media than it has during the season, I feel like. And it's always linked back to the Jets or like it I don't know whose camp is doing what, but AJ right now is a hot commodity. It's like he's about to release an album or something. Like he is a very hot commodity, and I'm sure Titans fan base got to be looking at this like, why? And it's continuously the Jets. And I'm like, are they really just putting it out there that they're going to go after him? Don't they already got Corey? You know what I'm saying? Like it's either his camp or just somebody is drumming this up him to the Jets way more often than I would have ever thought, considering he's still under contract, and Vrabel has doubled down and said that he's going to be a Titan. I don't know what to think right now when it comes down to AJ actually going to free agency. Unless there's real smoke of him being traded or the fact that, I don't know, franchising him next year maybe?
Yeah. I mean, it's a season of lies. It's not... And it's their media. I mean, it's the NFL media, a lot of whom live there, that are continuing to push this.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't just randomly on a bunch of message boards.
No.
This is actual NFL reporters. I know Bart Scott's talked about it a lot. Rich Samini of ESPN writing this piece about it. He's about as plugged into the Jets as anybody else is. That means there's clearly interest from the Jets.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. They're dropping little hints here. They want to see what's going on. They want to see what's going on here. Doesn't mean that John Robinson can't answer the bell.
Right. If this is his way of forcing a deal being done, I truly understand and get that, but I just don't know if that's the case. I think it could be a real smoke flame somewhere, Jay, when it comes to
I agree.
AJ either not being here, either he's about to get paid, or they're just going to let him walk after this. I don't know what's to be true right now because I've never seen a guy under contract during the summertime, during this time of the year, considering also – draft is about to come up, and trades do happen during that time.
It feels like a lot of media types had egg on their face because none of them knew the Tyreek Hill thing was going on. You saw Devontae and Tyreek go within like 2 weeks of each other. Those were two guys you wouldn't have thought a year ago were going to be in different places.
Right.
And so then it's like, well, how do we get ahead of this? Who's the next guy? Who are the next guys that are out there to get paid? Well, DK and AJ have 1 year left on rookie contracts. You're not talking about Jamar Chase yet.
No.
You're not talking about Justin Jefferson yet because he's a year behind these guys. You're looking at the other dudes that you know are studs at the position that are nearing the end of a deal, which means somebody is going to pay them big-time money. And since the market changed because of the Hill deal, because of the Adams deal, and because of the compensation that were given back from the teams that acquired them in trade, AJ and DK become the names that you talk about.
Yeah.
I don't know that it means more than that, but I think the media is trying to get ahead. They're trying to be there saying, we told you they were talking about this.
Yeah.
Because they all looked dumb on the Tyreek Hill thing.
And the only thing I can think of is the draft coming up, a trade. Again, would it benefit the Titans to get a second-round draft pick? 100%, yes, it would. But I just don't see them dealing AJ. I know you got Bobby Trees, but it's either that or you're going to have to pay AJ very, very soon. And I think right now, even with this health, AJ's going to be making about $23 million a year. No matter where, I feel like that's the case because he's at a point, if you don't have AJ here, what do you have in Tennessee?
Yeah, I mean, Robert Woods isn't a one at this point.
Right.
He hasn't even been used to being a 1 over the last few years. At times he's been 1B, 1A, whatever. But he needs somebody else. The thing is, I mean, Corey was a great 2, but Corey wasn't going to be some kind of dominant 1.
Right.
That's why the Jets are looking at AJ, because they want to, if they're looking at AJ or they're looking at DK. What I think is fascinating is the idea that DK Metcalf I've seen is like DK is going to get the same return that Tyreek and Devontae got. And I'm like, for what? For what? Because he's fast and big? Because I haven't seen anything consistently from DK Metcalf that tells me I'm giving up multiple first-round draft picks or 4 or 5 draft picks to acquire him. Now, I understand his age and all this, but I kind of need to see more from him.
Right.
Like, he's been healthier than AJ.
He has.
But I think AJ's a much more polished, better player than he is.
I would think so. And you know what I'll say about that? I've seen a guy like DK, for that matter, that you call a one-trick pony. Mike Wallace. Coach Tomlin used to call him, Mike, you're a one-trick pony, and we're going to continue to go to it until that trick doesn't work, you know? And Mike actually got paid behind that, being able to take the top off of defenses. Now, I'll say this to the defense of DK. True, definitely Russ didn't like the passing game in Seattle. So maybe a new coordinator, maybe being in a different spot might expose more of what DK is actually capable of doing. I'm with you. I see him as a one-trick pony.
I mean, how many
as of
different
right
routes does he run? He just runs down the field. It's for most part, it's a vert route when it goes to DK Metcalf.
But it's going to be value in it from a team because of the name.
Oh, agreed.
Because of the athlete that he is. And he's had some production. We can't deny that, you know. And the market, of course, it's pretty much set itself up. I'm with you in the understanding of
I'm skeptical that he's
more.
the guy that's going to take a team over the top. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because I haven't seen it yet. I know what the skill set could tell me. If I'm giving up that kind of capital for a receiver, he better be JMart.
Yeah.
He better be Justin Jefferson. And I don't think DK is either one of those two guys.
Yeah.
I think DK is a freak.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, in terms of his athleticism, size, and what he's able to do when he chased down the DB.
Oh my God, Buda Baker.
Yeah, that was the one. That was the moment where everybody realized how special he could be.
An alien. Yeah,
but his hands aren't great,
mm-hmm.
and his instincts towards the end zone a lot of times aren't that great.
Yeah,
and I need more than that if I'm giving up that kind of capital for a wide receiver. When there seem to be so many great wide receivers out there, both in the draft and in the NFL writ large.
So what you're saying, he's still going to need a Robin, like a strong Robin at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. And most receivers do, but I definitely think he does. Jayson Swain event will join us on the other side. We'll talk about his newest venture and plenty of things Big Orange next. JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Hey, you deserve all the comforts of home, and that includes endless hot water at your fingertips. Tankless water heaters powered by new recirculation systems are going to help you when it comes to saving energy, money, time, and space. Lee Company has a limited time offer right now. $750 off a tankless water heater when you purchase a new recirculation system. This is going to get you absolutely everything that you need. Endless hot water is big time. Not having to wait for it to heat up forever, even more big time. $750 off a tankless water heater with a recirculation system. To make the heat even sweeter, qualified buyers receive 18 months, 0% financing. That's a year and a half, 0% financing. Today's the day. Call Lee Company, 615-567-1000. It's time to do this. You've been thinking about it. You've heard me talking about it. Hey, honey, tankless water heater, do you think? Yes, this is the time. Go to leecompany.com/promotions. You can check out all the promotional offers for Lee Company. But again, 615-567-1000 is the telephone number to know. 567-1000 for Lee Company, all you need. Welcome back, JMart and Ramon, 1045 The Zone, hanging out on Zone TV. We appreciate you this morning. Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live. Bang that like button. Apparently that's a thing.
It is.
615-737-1045. Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer, Mr. Schaefer.
Mr. Schaefer.
Jayson Harden at Ramon Foster at Schaefer on Sports at JMart Radio at
Gets me
JMart
going.
and Ramon. To the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Hadn't talked to this guy in a while. But you hear his voice a lot. Now you're going to hear it even more, especially if you're in Knoxville. Want to know with Jayson Swain, the Swain event, joining us on the line. Jayson, good morning, buddy.
What's up, guys?
What's up with you? Because it seems like you got a pretty big day today.
Well, today I took my kids to school. We got one car right now because my car's in the shop, so I took my wife to school. Took her to work, excuse me. So it's been different already, that's for sure. I've been dealing with morning traffic here. This is different, guys. This is definitely different.
Yeah, so what else is happening today, Swain?
Well, we are debuting our new show there on the Sports Animal, 12 to 3, Josh and Swain, Josh Ward and myself. So first day, new job. So I got my outfit picked out like the first day of school back in the day, third grade. So I'm ready to go.
Good. I'm sure you got new shoes too.
Heck yeah, he does.
Can't go to class without new kicks. So what's on the docket to talk about today? Because we're going to talk to you about a number of different things here. But do you lead off talking about Tennessee sweeping Vanderbilt over the weekend? Do you lead off with the Final Four? Like, what's the first topic on Josh and Swain? What was on your mind all weekend?
Well, the sweep has been on my mind all weekend. All my floors in my house are squeaky clean. I mean, my goodness, Tennessee has owned Vanderbilt in every sport. Baseball was the last thing. It was the last thing that Tennessee did not take away from Vanderbilt. And, kudos to that program, Vanderbilt. They have been the gold standard of college baseball. And Tennessee has been striving for years and years and years to get to that point. Still got a lot of work to do. Got to win a championship, got to win multiple championships. But, Tennessee baseball is right now the best team in baseball. It's not even close. Just got to maintain and keep this same energy when it comes to postseason play in the College World Series. So that's going to be the leadoff for sure. People here are ecstatic and happy. Tony Vitello and his personality matches this fan base, and the players match Tony Vitello. So that's going to be the lead, man. That's what everyone's talking about right now.
Man, Swain, congratulations again on the new gig, man. Like you said, now you get a chance to see your kids off to school. And I'm with Jay also, man. It's first day of school, new shoes. I remember you in college, Swain, always having the latest release. Which Jordans are you rocking to work today, man?
Oh, Ramon, dang, man, you know me so well. Oh man, I gotta probably go with some Jordan 11s, man. I gotta bring them out today. I gotta bring them out. The 25-year anniversary, all black. I might have to go with those today, man. First day of work.
See, I knew it. Now, let me tell you this. Swain in college, if there was a new pair of J's coming out, now I'm not saying that Swain came from a wealthy family or somebody was giving him some cash on the side for these kicks, but somehow he always had them. And to this day, he's still going to rock them.
I had an NIL deal with Jordan.
Sure you did. Sure you did. But Swain, to the baseball point, man, baseballs, man. I told Jay, I'm happy for Tony Vitello and the Vols, but at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, how are we supposed to take this? Because if you're a fan of UT, you love it. But on the other side of it, of course, what happens Friday night? You get an unchecked bat was used in the game, or whether the sticker fell off, or whatever had happened, there was a scandal behind it, and then Tony gets all brash about it and starts, getting up in arms, and then they sweep Vanderbilt. So how are we supposed to really digest this team?
Well, I mean, if you're a Tennessee fan, you are cautiously optimistic, right? Because you're so used to heartbreak. You're so used to, at some point, a team losing or not achieving the ultimate goal of winning a championship. I mean, you look at the basketball team in the SEC tournament. Tennessee basketball was playing the best that they had played in a very long time at the right time, but people still didn't believe, Tennessee can actually do this. And then they go on and do it and win a championship in the SEC for the first time in 43 years. And I think it's that self-sabotaging mindset, I think, that we have kind of been used to because we haven't won that much. And I think when you look at Tennessee baseball, it's still kind of hard to believe, like, wait a minute, there's a Tennessee team that's dominating the competition that can really win a championship. And so you try to, tell yourself things that you're used to telling yourself, like, oh, we're not good enough, or, if something bad happens, it's going to happen in Tennessee. No, it's not like that. Even with the whole misunderstanding with the bat sticker and all that, like, Tennessee was still able to overcome and sweep Vanderbilt, shut out Vanderbilt in the last game. And you look at Tony Vitello, he was asked about peaking too early, and he's finding little things that this team can work on, like bunting. And so these guys are not going to be complacent. They're going to go out there and embrace the villain role. They know they're going to be the most hated team, in the nation, and that fuels you. That makes sure that you're not complacent, that you go out each and every day and try to one up the day before.
Mm-hmm. To that point, and to both of your points, eventually you have to get to a mental place, Swain, where it's no more waiting for this to happen the wrong way.
Yeah.
Eventually you just got to live high and expect that it's going to keep going and feel optimistic about it and keep riding it. Like, yeah, is it possible you lose? It is, but you can't – I don't think anymore – it's not smart to go through life expecting the worst to happen all the time. And I don't think the Tennessee players are. I don't think Vitello is. Right now, there's no reason to believe you can't win the College World Series.
Right.
And why would you even entertain that thought?
Well, because Tennessee athletics has kind of shot ourselves in the foot for so long. I mean, people remember 2001 SEC championship game against a backup quarterback in Rohan Davey, and you win that game, you play for a championship against Miami. People remember a couple of years ago, Rick Barnes' basketball team was good enough to beat Purdue, and then that Purdue team barely beat Virginia, and then Virginia won the championship. And people think of that, and they say, no, we just got bad luck. Now, I don't believe in bad luck. I think you create your luck by how hard you work. But it's part of college sports. It's hard. It's hard to win championship. People need to realize that. It's extremely hard, and you do need a little bit of luck. But, Tennessee has kind of been shooting themselves in the foot for the last couple of years, and now that's not the case. You got good people that knows what they're doing in charge, and when you have that, good things happen. So fans need to expect that and embrace that.
Very true. Swain, is also going on in Knoxville right now, spring practice, man. But before that, I don't think we really talked much about the commit, Nico. Man, just how big is that for the University of Tennessee? And truth be told, I know they have, I think, what's his name, Taven, that's on the roster right now too. That's practicing, the young quarterback. This, as you know, your program or organization goes as the quarterback goes, with Hendon Hooker still being there right now, man. Are they in a good spot?
Yeah, absolutely. Ramon, are we gonna call him Nico like Prince, or are we gonna call him by his first and last name?
Come on,
you need.
I'm caught.
That's a good call. Good call, Swain. That's the easy way to not mispronounce the man's last name, is to not even try.
Play it for him, Shafe. How we say it? Iamaliava. Hey, come on, Swain. I'm caught.
You said it right, though. You said it right. No, man, you look around college football guys over the last couple of years, and LSU with Joe Burrow. You look at Alabama with Tua Tagovailoa. You look at, Clemson with Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence. It's hard to win a championship without good quarterback play. I think the years of Trent Dilfer with the Ravens. No shade, Trent Dilfer. I know you down there in Nashville. We love you, but that defense was the number one defense in, probably NFL history. Like, you got to put up some points at the quarterback position in college football today. And I think Tennessee with Josh Heupel, understands that. This is a great time to have Josh Heupel as your head coach. And if you are a high school quarterback, you're looking at this offense. You see what Hendon Hooker was able to do last year, and you're saying that, oh yeah, I can be groomed to be an NFL quarterback, and I can be, in the spotlight of being a Tennessee quarterback. And it doesn't hurt that, playing football at Tennessee is one of the most marketable positions that you can be in terms of the name, image, and likeness. So get used to Tennessee going out and attracting the top quarterbacks each and every year. This past weekend, they hosted Jaden Davis, who is 2024 number one quarterback in his class. So get used to it.
So not just quarterbacks, because I'm thinking about Alabama a little bit in terms of the wide receiver talent that they put into the NFL and the money that's now being given out. You've seen Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill. We know AJ's about to get paid, we think, by Tennessee. We don't think he's going anywhere. DK Metcalf, like everything has changed. If you're a wide receiver playing in a wide open offense like that, you can put up big-time numbers with big-time television audiences, and that's not going to hurt you either, especially with it. The value of the wide receiver position, Swain, you correct me if I'm wrong, seems to have never been higher than it is right now.
No doubt, because the NFL is about entertainment and putting points on the board, so receivers are getting a ton of money. I think Christian Kirk really changed, the money with wide receivers. And then you look at what Deshaun Watson got with the Browns. I mean, over $200 million guaranteed. That just shifts the money for the players forever, I think. So if you're a wide receiver in high school, this is a great time to be playing the position. You want to go somewhere that you can be developed, that you can, be on display, showcase your talent, and then get to the league, and you have a good opportunity to make a whole lot of money. So, yeah, the league is right now tailor-made for wide receivers, for sure.
Swain, with that being said, too, NILs, man, just speak on, I guess, what Spire means to sport, and not just, to the University of Tennessee, but there's Alabama has a collective, Georgia has a collective. I think they said for sure Texas has 5 different collectives that are, raising NIL money, man. Just what does it do for the college game, especially with you being in Knoxville, seeing this and the response from businesses that are involved in it and everything else surrounding it?
Yeah, I said I was inspired at the beginning of this, before the NIL law was put in motion, and they had a vision from day one. I mean, they have a marketing background from their days working with professional athletes, and so they had a vision of what they wanted to do and how they felt like it was going to be, in the market before things started to become regulated. And very, very organized, crisscrossing the country, crisscrossing the state, going, talking to, major donors and boosters and people that care about Tennessee and want to see Tennessee be successful. And I think their plan has been spot on. It's been fabulous. And, there's some questions about what's really going on with Tennessee's NIL game, and understand that Tennessee the school can't hands-on do anything. So it was Spire really going out and making things happen. And I think it's a big reason why Tennessee has been, in the position that they are in recruiting-wise. I thought Spire did a great job, helping Tennessee close strong. You look at some of our players on our team, guys that balled out last year, and the fans really locked arms with. I mean, those players are now even more happy and motivated to go out and do more things. It's good to know that your work on the field, you don't get in trouble, you do everything the right way that's being noticed, and you're going to be compensated for it. I think the coolest story with NIL has been Zakai Ziegler. I mean, fan favorite, had a traumatic experience with his house burning down, and then everyone stepped up and dropped some big money on him, and it opened up some opportunities for him, with commercials and other businesses. So Tennessee knows what they're doing. They're on top of it.
So, and I've asked a few people this question. I know that these two organizations, these two entities have to work in concert for all of this to succeed, but who's going to have more power in 5 years, the program or the collective? And I don't mean in Knoxville. I mean in all of these spots. How do you think the power balance is going to shift? Because it certainly appears like a group like Spire is going to increase its power, not decrease it.
I think all the collectives will have more power than school, honestly. Absolutely. I mean, look at it right now. I mean, we haven't hit one full year, and we have players in other programs who are sitting out. They holding out, man. That's something like Ramon would do when he was with the Steelers. He would hold out. You got a college player right now holding out in college. So if that's going on in year 1, imagine what it's going to be in year 3 or year 5. So if you are a school and you're smart, you want to work alongside, understand your role, understand that a good collective that has all their I's dotted and T's crossed, that they can help the university, and it's good for everybody. So I think that's what's going on in Tennessee, honestly. But to answer your question, Jay, I think the collectives will be more powerful than the schools here really, really soon.
Man, that's
kind of what I'm thinking as well.
It's going to be interesting, and the thing behind all of it, though, Swain, is for so long. And I know we as former college athletes say this all the time. The schools have gotten rich. Everybody has gotten rich. NCAA has gotten rich to where everybody's flying private jets and being at all the big events and living in the biggest houses. So, the biggest issues that came out about a month ago was there's a kid that got $8 million. Now, I got to think to myself, think about investments. If you're putting $8 million into something, you're getting something back. Like, even if these kids are getting double-digit million-dollar deals, the schools and everybody else behind it is getting their return. Would you think that?
Yeah, I think the schools have been, they've been eating off the kids' plate for a very, very long time. And let's look at it like this, too. I mean, even if there is a NIL deal out there that's $8 million or $5 million, and let's say that school necessarily didn't get their investment. Okay, well, how many times have we seen a school go out and hire a coach for a certain amount of dollars, fire that coach, pay him a buyout, and you turn around and you go, wait, we just wasted $10 million, or we just wasted $5 million on this coach because you hired him to compete for championships and he didn't do that. So it's part of it. You're gonna spend money. You're gonna maybe not get a return on your investment like you wanted to, but with the SEC dropping checks on these schools, $50, $60, $70 million is only going up. I mean, this is just the cost of doing business. So I'm happy for the players. I think it puts more of a premium on the players to move a certain type of way, be very, very cognizant of how they behave on social media, how they move off the football field, and treating people the right way, because people talk. And these businesses, they don't want to align themselves with somebody who's a knucklehead, number one, and number two, someone who's a scrub on the football field. So I think it puts a lot of pressure on these guys and lady athletes, to go out there and make plays on the field or the court, but at the same time behave off the field too. I think it's a great lesson for real life after sports.
Swain, congrats. Keep those 11s from getting creases. Make sure Josh Ward doesn't step on those later.
Hey, man, if Josh Ward steps on my 11s today, it's going to be a bad first day.
Yes, it is, Swain. Just don't be walking like the kids do that walk basically stiff legs so they don't crease the shoe. Like, walk natural at least,
Don't put
Swain.
cardboard in them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. I will have the J's on. I have crease guards, so I'll be good to go.
There it is. Appreciate you, Swain. Congrats again, brother.
I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
Indeed. That's Jayson Swain. Josh and Swain, noon to 3 Eastern. Hopefully there'll be a podcast so I can listen to them in the evenings.
No doubt, man.
99.1 The Sports Animal, our sister station. Swain doing big things.
I love that.
And Josh Ward, of course, just rock solid. So that's gonna be a solid program, to say the least. Haven't talked WrestleMania, we will. We got David Ubben coming in the next hour.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with him. Collectives, man. Collectives gonna have so much power.
So much power.
They are gonna have a lot of power. No question about that. We'll be back. It is JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
Say you want a Ford Explorer with a great sound system, a sunroof, and co-pilot assist, and Atlas Blue. Two Rivers Ford can order that for you. Or maybe you want a truck like a F-150 XLT in Oxford White with tow technology package. Two Rivers Ford can order that for you. Two Rivers Ford can now custom order the exact new Ford you want in any color, any trim with available features. All you have to do is reach out to their non-commissioned sale people, and they'll walk you right through the process. Or if you don't want to go to the dealership, you can do it all yourself online by clicking the custom order tab at tworiversford.com. At Two Rivers Ford, you'll always find honest, upfront prices and non-commissioned salespeople. And don't forget, Two Rivers Ford has the max trade-in guarantee. Yes, max trade-in guarantee. So let's recap what I said. At Two Rivers Ford, you get exactly what you want at a great price. You get top dollar for your trade, and you work with non-commission sale people who aren't going to pressure you. Does it get any better? Well, yes, it does. Well, Two Rivers Ford is also locally owned business that has been right here in Tennessee since 1983 with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. So what are you waiting for? Custom order your new Ford from Two Rivers Ford.
Smashville, the Nashville Predators' regular season coming to a close, and 104.5 The Zone has your chance to win tickets to cheer on the Preds as they make their postseason push. Listen all week long to Blaine and Mickey for your chance to win tickets from the Window Nation Ticket Window to see your Nashville Predators take on the San Jose Sharks Tuesday next week, April 12th. Tickets to the remaining Nashville Predators home games are available. For more information, go to NashvillePredators.com/tickets.
That second Nas record is special stuff.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Schaefer. So, WrestleMania was Saturday and Sunday. Paid attendance was about 54,000 both nights. They announced 77, but it was about 55 paid. Success, the only real thing is they split it to 2 days because they didn't want to have a 6-hour show. And then they had 2 6-hour shows, basically. So it's like, yeah, okay, we see what you're doing. You're now creating revenue. But I saw most all of it. Like Saturday night, of course, I was hosting, but I had it on the laptop, and I had the Final Four on the big screen in the same room. So I was watching both things simultaneously. And yesterday I watched everything. And I was able to go back and see most of what I had not seen on Saturday. Honestly thought from a success/failure standpoint, I thought it was an excellent show both nights. I thought they did much of what they needed to do. It felt big time. The moments that needed to hit. The Austin moments both nights hit huge. That's what you wanted. If you're a Steve Austin fan, it's first and only match he's going to do for the last 19 years, and it was his retirement match, and it was great fan service. Biggest moment of Kevin Owens' career was just being the other guy in that ring. If he does nothing else through the contract that he decided to re-sign instead of leaving in January, it was worth it just because he's the guy that got to wrestle Austin in that match, because that won't be forgotten about. You had Cody leave AEW and show up, Cody Rhodes. If you read the interviews since he left, he seems like a wonderful person. He just seems like somebody that's just irrational about his own star power. The reason he left AEW is because he had a falling out because they weren't building the company around him anymore. And so he's like, well, I'm just going to take bigger money and go back to WWE. I think he went where he should be, because I think he's a sports entertainer who's also a pretty good wrestler, but I also don't think he's a main event type guy, and I don't think they're going to push him like one. I think there's going to be an early push, and a couple months from right now, he's going to be chilling in that U.S. title, Intercontinental title range. The best story of the weekend, though, was Ronda Rousey from Friday. I couldn't believe this when I heard this. Ronda thought she was going on last Saturday. No, that's going to be Steve Austin that's going to send that show home. She was so furious, she almost no-showed. She did not attend the Hall of Fame. Oh. She was reportedly like irate to the point she almost walked out on the company because she believed she was supposed to main event that show instead of Steve Austin.
So the rattlesnake?
And for a couple of days before Mania, the speculation is Austin, it was a touch and go, kind of like Tiger's going to decide this week if he plays.
Yeah.
Well, Austin decided within the last few days he was actually going to do a match because he wanted to make sure physically he could provide what he needed to, or was it just going to be a spot? Was it just going to be a stunner spot? Was it just going to be something like that? And he decided, no, let's go ahead and do this thing. And so obviously that's going on last. But Ronda apparently was so furious that she nearly just backed out on everything with WWE over it. And my take is go on home, because not only did you not main event, your women's match wasn't even the same vicinity as Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch was an hour and a half before, because that was the best match of the entire first night in terms of just a pure wrestling match. There was good wrestling to be had both nights, and Saturday's show I think was better than Sunday's, but there was stuff to watch on Sunday. But the Ronda thing has just become very annoying to me. Just the way she feels about herself and how sensitive she gets and all this other kind of stuff. It's just like, I don't need it. And next year's Mania is supposedly, and this has been built for a year now, is going to be Becky and Ronda and Roman and The Rock. So I think it's very possible Roman's going to hold the title for another full calendar year.
I think Roman got legit hurt last night, so he may be sitting out for a while. Doesn't mean he will give up the title, but he'll be hurt for a little bit. He'll be out.
What was the spot?
I don't know the spot. I just saw on Twitter some of the pictures today. I think he might have blown out a tricep.
Dang.
Well, that's a long time. She's out with the tricep. That's going to be a minute.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's what it is because I don't know, but just looking at the photos, it was the upper part of his left arm, so something happened.
I mean, I didn't.
He got legit hurt.
Yeah.
There was very little that I didn't like over the 2 days from an entertainment standpoint. You know, the Johnny Knoxville thing. That's not really for me at this point. I don't really want that out of my pro wrestling, but I get that you're going to do that at WrestleMania, and at least it was fun and entertaining and gave whoever was going to be there for that, they got what they wanted out of that. I thought it was successful. I thought everything generally worked the way that it needed to. I had a lot of fun watching those 2 days. It was a good couple days for WWE. Should create some excitement. The night after WrestleMania Raw is the best television show they do all year. So Tonight and this week's television will be worth seeing. Hopefully they'll have some momentum coming into Nissan for the next big event, which is SummerSlam in August, which we'll be a big part of. And I could say a lot more. I mean, I wish this was one of those weeks where I wish I had an hour or two to really dive into everything individually, but I just thought, generally speaking, it was a massive win for them. The show was better than many thought. It was better than the card indicated on paper for sure. And outside of having the patella go out on him in the opener on Saturday, and he's out for a long time. That was sad. But I think you got what you wanted, and you got The Undertaker's retirement in terms of going into the Hall of Fame and him showing up both nights. And you got Steve Austin. And you got Steve Austin in Dallas finishing his career where it started, and I was very happy that that's the way that ended.
And Rousey wanted it to be her. And all of those things led to Stone Cold having his show. Mm-hmm. Absolutely not. Sometimes you just got to take a bow and watch others celebrate and celebrate them with them. So, yeah, that was irrelevant. So I didn't realize all that was going on with Ronda.
She doesn't want to be in pro wrestling. That's the deal. She doesn't want to be doing this.
Yeah.
Just because she signed a contract doesn't mean she wants to be doing it.
I know, but that same excitement you have in the beginning is what you got to have towards the end when you initially get it.
Well, what I learned is that after this run is done, they're going to be like, you know what? Thanks, but no thanks.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
What was the better match, Ronda versus Charlotte or Charlotte versus her top?
I have no comment on that at all.
Charlotte pinned Ronda, but her top beat Charlotte.
That's not the first time.
No, it isn't.
That she's had that problem.
Huh. Or in the other match, there was actually 3 matches going on in one there. There was Ronda and Charlotte. There was Charlotte versus her top, and then there was Ronda versus her bike shorts.
Well,
all of these things were going on simultaneously.
Yeah. The bike shorts had the banana seat effect.
Them little small boys in the house that was watching that match was very much in tune to it, Jay. Let's say that. It's like, come on, y'all.
Match was fine, but it was not a highlight of that night. Austin was the highlight. I thought Cody's entrance and the way he set it up was great.
It was a really good match.
Becky and Bianca was the best match of the night.
Yeah.
That thing was phenomenal. Well, and it was really cool to find out, if you didn't know, this has been set up since day one when Becky came back and won the title in 10 seconds over Bianca and everybody was upset. Becky wanted to build to this because she specifically wanted to put Bianca over because she believed she was a star. She wanted to be responsible for helping her in that spot. I respect that a lot because everything that they've done to get to that moment made that moment really special on Saturday night. All right, third hour of the show. David Ubben in about 25 minutes. Back to the Final Four, back to the Vols over the weekend, all that. JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, yo.
Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. To women's college basketball, South Carolina earned the program's second national title, a 64-49 victory over UConn last night for the Gamecocks. They went 14-0 this season against teams ranked in the AP Top 25. Also became the 8th program to win multiple national titles. Men's Natty tonight, North Carolina taking on Kansas. Tip-off set for 8:20. Our coverage, courtesy of Westwood One, begins at 6:30. College baseball over the weekend. Number 1 Tennessee defeated Vanderbilt 5-0 yesterday at Hawkins Field. That capped a weekend sweep of the doors. Tennessee now 27-1 for the season, 9-0 in the SEC. It is the Vols' first sweep of Vanderbilt in Nashville since 2009. Tiger Woods says it'll be a game-time decision on whether he competes in the 86th Masters this week. In a rare in-division trade, the New England Patriots have acquired Miami Dolphins wide receiver Devontae Parker and a 2022 fifth-round pick in exchange for a 2023 third-rounder. And Denny Hamlin won at Richmond Raceway yesterday in the NASCAR Cup Series. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Hour number 3, we're halfway home on this Monday. We've still got 2 more hours to go. David Ubben of The Athletic will chime in the next segment. Vols sweep Vanderbilt, and Coach K's career comes to an end. Those are probably the 2 biggest headlines locally. We talked about A.J. Brown earlier, and I don't think he goes anywhere. I think that DK is much more likely to move than A.J. Brown is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a situation where are they going to try to find a way to extend him now? Is that what we're pushing towards?
Yeah.
And is that a little bit of a risk considering I still really want to see 1 year of him fully healthy because of just the wide receiver market is so bonkers right now.
Ooh.
It's fine to pay, but don't pay the wrong one because you can put yourself in a bad spot.
Mm-hmm. And that's, of course, the best ability is what, Jay?
Availability. And they even talked about it as it related to Julio. That's what John Robinson was talking about, the sign and everything else.
Mm-hmm. And was just saying, like he did acknowledge, like Julio wanted to be out there, he just couldn't. And you know what? You were right about that too, Jay. It's just like the tread that he has on his tire is real thin, and there was rumors that he didn't really practice. And you come to find out that heck, maybe he couldn't practice here, and you didn't really get much out of it. On top of the fact, I ain't gonna say you get slapped in the face for it this year with the draft, but you gave up a 2 for him, and now you don't have a 2. And then we're always talking about the windows of what's in front of us, this present team. Having the ability to draft this year a first-rounder as late as you do because you're a good team, you can find a solid guy there. But if you had a second-round draft pick this year, or if you had Julio Jones that just came off of – I don't even necessarily think he needed 1,000 yards. If he'd have gave you 800 this past year, you'd have felt, okay, we're good. We still got Julio, and now you got neither. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, where is AJ going to get this help? How is he going to help this team as far as his ability to continually stay on the field, number one? But if he does, or if you pay him before you know what this year is going to be, that's an issue. Like you said, when it comes down to the investment of seeing it out there week in and week out. We were speaking about the NIL deals with Swain. It's like, sometimes it just don't hit. Mm-hmm. But this time, I know the cap is going up, and pretty much rising tide, everybody gets paid. Swain brought up the Kirk deal in Miami. And I was just still thinking of what Devontae, Jacksonville, Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams getting paid, and then Tyreek getting paid also just raised the floor on everything. Here in Tennessee, AJ being the man that he is, his camp, this is me saying this, his camp, I would think, would ask for 23 plus. And that's 23 is probably cutting the deal.
And that feels like the floor, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And with this market, you got to cash. I mean, we're sitting here talking about Lamar Jackson being unique and all this. And with Lamar, if I'm Lamar, and Lamar's been savvy about this, and he's going to do it his way, and he may be about to Kirk Cousins this thing, but because of his style, I would be worried about the injury that takes him out before he gets the paycheck.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you make a bad decision. And you can't operate like you're going to get hurt. But what he does doesn't generally last as long as what a lot of other people do.
Yeah, no, not usually. Not usually. Well, quarterbacks are more protected now.
They are.
I feel like he's gotten better at protecting himself, but he does run down the middle of defenses more often than he does on the sideline. You know, that one play he had against the Titans a few years back, I think when he won MVP, I mean, he's running down the middle of the defense, spinning and running into the end zone type stuff. So he better, Jay, if for anything, get very careful on how he take care of himself because he is the investment.
Yeah.
I'm looking offensively. What does friggin' Baltimore have beside him? Ronnie Stanley?
I mean, Hollywood Brown.
Give me, yeah.
Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
A bunch of running backs.
So it's no knock on it, but Lamar, you are the show. Lamar's probably going to get, 42, 45 guaranteed a year?
I mean, I think the idea is, all right, tag me once, tag me twice, and then pay me $55 million a year or something like that. Like, that might be the calculus, but that is definitely taking a risk with your health.
But when it comes to AJ again, I'm sure John Robinson and Vrabel want to, continue to keep him. They've said all the right things as far as they love how he's grown as a dad. And truth be told, we saw the tweets. It was actually Instagram between Jalen Hurts and AJ, and it was pretty much just saying, of course, Jalen Hurts is supposed to do it. He's basically trying to recruit him.
He said I tried to get him to Alabama.
He did, yeah. And they're good friends.
Yeah.
And everybody this day and age is good friends when it comes down to athletes in general. So they're going to communicate and tell him he looked good. And AJ pretty much told him, no, you just trying to start some stuff.
Yeah, they're just having fun.
Yeah, having fun. But it comes up often with a guy like AJ, man. And either they need to lock him down real quick or let the business handle itself.
I mean, the only way that he goes anywhere is if they know he's gonna demand money they can't pay.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that you trade him. That's what the Kansas City Chiefs did. They realized we can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get the max value right now while he's still red hot, as opposed to seeing any real decline in his skills, meaning Tyreek.
Mm-hmm.
AJ, the only question that I have regarding AJ is AJ willing to sit out if the tag were to be placed on him? Are we going to have that kind of a dispute over that, or is it going to be smoother? Because I don't know that that's what they're going to do. I just know that's at least one option that's out there.
We had a conversation, though, when it comes down to making this decision on who you're going to pay. Not saying that you can't pay both. Jeff or AJ?
And for me, it's Jeff.
Yeah.
And that's no
down.
disrespect to AJ's ability at all.
Hands down.
Jeff hasn't had the health concerns since he got into the league. We know what happened at Mississippi State. And looking around the league, as great as AJ is, there are more great wide receivers in the game than there are dominant defensive tackles.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like the rarity of Jeff makes him the commodity of the two that I would have to prioritize.
This is going to sound bad with me saying this. I think Jeff has more of a footing in his NFL than AJ does, to that same point. Meaning, I feel like we'll end up talking about Big Jeff the same way teams talk about Aaron Donald. And they already do, starting to right now. But I think he can have that type of an impact to where he is your poster guy. Because we're thinking about this defense or this team in general. Tannehill's not everybody's poster guy. Derrick Henry is, but Derrick got to come back and have a really good year. And you know what? We all got to wait and see what that's going to look like. What's a really good year for him moving forward? But if we're painting a picture of who is the star, I'd almost say it's Jeff.
I would too.
With respect to the mayor of Murfreesboro also.
Yeah.
It's Jeff.
Yeah. I mean, those guys are your cornerstones, and AJ is one of them. But between the two, I would have to prioritize Jeff.
Yep. 100%.
Like to have them both. And I'm not saying that it's A versus C. I'm saying it's like A versus A minus barely. A plus versus A even. I didn't want to call AJ an A minus. We'll come back. We'll talk to David Ubben of The Athletic. We'll talk to him a little bit certainly about Coach K's legacy. We're also going to talk to him about French fry rankings.
Yeah, I saw that.
Also, he and Ari and Andy Staples ranked the SEC coaching jobs.
Yep, we will do that. All of that with David Ubben of The Athletic. Next, JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
Mortgage interest rates are starting to tick up, but the guys that I know at Home Loan Expert are still locking their clients into historic lows, okay? So if you've been sitting on the fence to get a refi, or if you haven't gotten your pre-approved home loan locked in, let me tell you, now is the time. Like, stop waiting for a lower rate because they won't stick around for much longer. Interest rates are still sitting relatively low, but they need to get you locked in today. By refinancing your 30-year mortgage, the Home Loan Expert can save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a month with a simple refinance, okay? And what can it do for you? Well, it can lower your monthly payments. It can also give you cash to pay off some debt you may have and have you skip a few mortgage payments. And also this, if you've been looking to expand your home or make some much-needed home improvements, then make your largest asset work for you with a cash-out refi through the Home Loan Expert. The average homeowner last year got about $52,000 out of their refi. So if you've been sitting at home for months, this is also true. People are looking at new homes. So homes are still selling fast. Getting pre-approved is key to finding your dream home. At thehomeloanexpert.com, they can lock in your interest rate, also project your payments, and get you pre-qualified. So when you find that right home, you can submit that offer and close on your dream home. Thehomeloanexpert.com are doing more home loans than ever and are closing purchases in less than 21 days. So don't wait. 21-day closing guarantee. Go talk to the people I know at thehomeloanexpert.com.
Little Bonita Applebum this morning. Tribe Called Quest. It's JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. If you missed Jayson Swain, just heard from Josh Ward. He sent us a text message. He's excited to get started today.
He's looking forward to it. That's awesome, man.
That'll be on 99.1 beginning 1 Central time, I guess. Like I said, I'm hoping there's a podcast so I can listen to it in the evenings.
No, it'd be 11 Central Time, 12
11
Eastern.
Central. Yeah, whatever. I got it right.
That is a demerit.
By the way, the game tonight.
Late. Yep. I don't get it. I don't know why they're doing the thing. They do the Sweet 16 so late. The late game. It's in at midnight or past midnight on the East Coast. It's not great if you're a kid. Remember, I had to beg to stay to watch Home Improvement when I was a kid. That was a 9 p.m. show.
Love this show. Love it.
To the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. David Ubben, The Athletic, awaits. David, good morning.
Morning, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
Sure. So we'll get it to everything else, but just because you covered college sports as long as you have, the idea that Coach K is not going to be a part of college basketball and how important, and I think people will wake up and figure this out soon enough, even if they didn't like Duke or felt like they got tired of Duke. College basketball and sports in general needs a villain. It needs a Mount Everest to climb, and the idea that Duke might not be that and Coach K won't be on the sidelines, that's a reality I'm not used to, David.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think part of it is, college basketball in general just doesn't have very many things or people or teams that like everybody from coast to coast has an opinion about. And Coach K was one of those, and it's a loss for the sport. I think, whether you love him or hate him, most people, casual or otherwise, fell in one of those two camps. And I think, when you look at, Jay Wright or Bill Self or some of these other, stars in the profession, do people have strong opinions about those things? Because I don't think so. And strong opinions bring eyeballs, and, the sport's going to miss them. College basketball's got a lot of problems and a lot of issues. And, I think ultimately it's going to be just a huge loss for the sport.
Yeah, so, I mean, does it help college basketball if John Shire is both good and a jerk? Like, so that you can find some other kind of villain? Because I guess if you're trying to find villains, I guess Calipari, but the problem is, and this is not me taking a dig, Kentucky hasn't won enough in terms of championships and been in Final Fours enough for him to be as villainous as maybe he could have been otherwise. I know he's polarizing, but as you said, Jay Wright's not somebody you dislike. Like, you like the program, you like the kids that he brings in, you like the way he goes about it. There has to be some kind of bristly figure, and I don't look out there and assume that it's there unless it's just Texas gets good, and because we hate Texas, that might create a villainous situation.
And I think, too, if you hate – I mean, I kind of don't really get the Coach Cal hate. Like, he is a straight shooter. He doesn't play with a lot of the BS of college sports. Like, hey, we're not going to do the whole leader of men thing. We're not going to do the whole come here because your degree. Like, listen, you're going to be at Kentucky for a year. Come here. I'm getting you to the NBA. And people want to get mad at him, for some of the recruiting stuff earlier. I'm sorry, but breaking immoral rules is not going to make me hate anybody. Maybe some people, but people that run afoul of the NCAA rules, I don't really see as villains unless they're, Arizona State football where you're putting people in actual danger. Most of the time, if it's just nonsense and you're, how dare you give $40,000 to that player's mom to help pay bills? How dare you, sir? Okay, it's fine, guys. It's going to be good. So, I ultimately I don't quite get the Coach Cal villain. I find him to be one of the sport's, straighter shooters, quite frankly.
Yeah, and with that being said, the guys who are next up as far as continuing the blue bloods of NCAA, Hubert, seems to be on track of what he's got going on. But as far as, like you said, the players coming into the NCAA basketball side, how are coaches, these new coaches of this new era, going to be able to retain these guys to keep college basketball what it is currently?
Well, I think NIL can help. If you can make a bunch of money sticking around rather than rolling the dice and having to move to Europe for some of these guys, I think that could really help. Everybody's situation is different, but if you can make money and continue pursuing your degree and staying in school, for multi-year guys, I think that can really help. The one-and-done guys, if you're going to be a top 15 pick, it's just not really a conversation. And some of that's lifestyle, too.
Yeah.
What's the point of staying one more year to stay in school and get one more semester of credits? Like, it's kind of what's the point, Just go get your money, go start your pro career. But if you're on the fence and you're, a sophomore, you've been in there 2 years, you have one breakout year, sticking around I think can help. I think name, image, and likeness can really help college basketball because I think one big problem the sport has is name recognition. It just doesn't have the same kind of established stars that college football does because you have to play for 3 years. So, it's a pretty basic idea. And I think that can help college basketball when every year, the best players aren't freshmen that nobody's ever heard of.
When it comes down to the way it ended for Coach K against Carolina, and Jay's explained to me just the significance of this, him being a Tobacco Road kid. Was there a better picture if you were a Tar Heel on having Coach K kind of bow out the way he did?
Well, in general, in sports, I root for the funniest possible outcome, and that was probably the funniest possible outcome. So I did find it entertaining. I generally, a little bit Coach K neutral. Does he make it a little bit about himself from time to time? I'm sure some people would feel that way. But the idea that North Carolina, in a pretty not great year for them, can ruin your final home game and then end your season in the Final Four and the first time you've ever met, I mean, that's crazy. And so very entertaining. But the intensity of that game Saturday night, man, you could feel it. And that was one of the best college basketball games I think I've ever seen.
Yes, no, it was. It was absolutely tremendous. It's exactly what you wanted out of that, having to wait so long to finally get it. It was perfect, I think. So
Stakes were absolutely off the charts in that ball game. You could feel it.
Yeah, you could tell from the crowd. Like, there was just a different energy. Like, I've seen a lot of basketball. I've seen a lot of national title games, a lot of Final Four games. That one, the only way I could describe it is just it hit different. Like, that game just felt special. It felt meaningful.
Yeah.
It felt more like an event than just a 40-minute basketball game.
Totally. Could not agree more.
Are you willing to cancel a concert to go to something like this? But what are you willing to do?
I don't know that I'd cancel a concert that was going to make me $1 million or whatever. I don't know what big time arena people get paid for concerts, but he could probably reschedule. I think he'll be all right. Props him. I don't think he woke up on Sunday regretting it, I got to say.
No, he was right. As far as going with your gut, he was 100% right. I think they do most of the time the big tours clear $1 million a stadium. So that's
good. I have to say, I have to confess, anytime like a major college or a major country music star does something, I haven't paid attention to it. So I have to ask like people close to me, how famous is this person? Like if they show up on College Game Day, or they get caught on video dropping the N-word or canceling a show, I have to ask, how famous is this person? And apparently Eric Church is pretty famous, so I a big deal, I guess.
A scandal, huh?
I'd say a lot of the questions you've asked are probably relevant ones. Eric Church is probably one you need to know, Dave.
I guess it hasn't hurt me to this point, so at least I know who he is. So I can lean on that.
As long as he doesn't have one of them 3 scandals you named out, he'll be all right. Okay.
Yeah. Let's hope.
So you and Andy Staples and Ari Wasserman, you guys got together and you ranked the SEC college football coaching jobs from best to worst. Take us into the process a little bit and how you're evaluating the penthouse and the outhouse right now in the SEC.
Well, I think for me, ceiling matters, passion matters because that means money. History matters a little bit. But I think the biggest thing is just access to talent. And then how easy is it for you to get dudes? And how easy is it for you to please the people that control your employment status? So all those things sort of factor in. I personally think Georgia's the best job in college football, so certainly I had Georgia as the best job in the SEC. But it was a very interesting exercise because, if you guys haven't listened to it, and any listeners, I would encourage you to give it a listen. We have some different perspectives. And Ari dropping Auburn to the worst job in the SEC was quite a head turner, I suppose. But I can't argue with his reasoning.
With that being said, with being able to get a job, I saw one of the replies back from a Tennessee fan. He basically said, "You know what, Ubben? I would go off on a tangent, but you're right. How rare was that for you, man?"
Yeah, I mean, I think I feel like we were pretty fair to Tennessee. I think they're not in that upper echelon anymore. Things can change. Like Auburn and Tennessee, depending on the year, I think you can make an argument one way or the other. But there was a time certainly when Tennessee would have been in that Alabama, Georgia, tier. I think college football has changed a lot. It's harder for Tennessee to get elite talent. If you want to get a top 5 class at Tennessee, that's really hard because you've got to dominate in-state and you got to hope it's a good in-state year so that you can get enough people. But then you got to go to Georgia and you got to beat Georgia for guys in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go to South Carolina and you got to go beat Clemson for some guys.
Mm-hmm.
Then you probably have to go to Florida and beat all the Florida schools. And then in the middle of that, Auburn and Alabama are chasing the same guys too. You got to beat those guys out, and that's about half your class usually, right? Maybe a little bit less than half of guys in that footprint where you're having to beat out the best of the best. And for Tennessee, when you've had a situation, like they've had for the last 15 years, where you haven't really been nationally relevant, it's tough. And I think that's the biggest piece of this is access to talent. Mm-hmm. How easy is it for you to get dudes? And right now it is not very easy for Tennessee to get dudes. And that is the biggest part of college football.
Yeah, so interestingly, I wrote a piece in the Wall Street Journal this morning about how the road to the Final Four and the road to tonight's game goes through the transfer portal. Because you got Brady Manick, who played at Oklahoma for 4 years, had an extra year of eligibility, and Hubert Davis said, he fits my program, I bring him in. And for Kansas, Remy Martin is one of the most important guys, and he played at Arizona State. So when you're looking at it right now in college football, how important is it to, quote, win the transfer portal or make good decisions? Because it seems like that is a key factor in addition to being able to recruit, is finding those diamonds in the rough that are slipping through the cracks or are unhappy or whatever.
I mean, I think if you want to be elite, I don't think you find the diamonds in the rough. I think you do what Alabama's doing, which is recruit the heck out of people, keep the guys that really matter to you, and then pick up a couple of the biggest pieces. I mean, you look at Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, that's massive piece. Jermaine Burton, nice pickup for them. I mean, they're very, very selective. It's not so much diamond in the rough as much as, hey, who's the best guy in the portal? We're going to go get that guy.
Yeah.
So I think that, I just don't think you can live off the portal. I think you can, if you're using it to fill holes every single year, you need to recruit better. I mean, it's just not that simple. That's easier said than done. But I think you got to go and say, hey, almost like the NFL draft, if you're trying to fill a need in the portal, you're playing a dangerous game. But if you're just saying, hey, this is a great asset, this is a fantastic piece that's going to make our team better, regardless of what we got going on, we're going to take this guy. Alabama doesn't need Jahmyr Gibbs. They've recruited fine. They'd be great at running back. But guess what? He makes them better. He's not filling a hole. He's enhancing what they have. And that's where I think you can really, really thrive in the portal.
And speaking of just portal, coaches switching teams throughout this March Madness also. Shaheen Holloway, David, I mean, the journey that he's had at a school nobody probably knew existed other than people at it in New Jersey, to go back to his alma mater, man, to be the head coach there. They had a budget of $1.8 million, and assistant coaches getting paid more than the head coach at Kentucky. That's what this tournament in college can be about on the good side, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's been awesome to see. I think they were one of the best stories. But St. Peter's, they've been pretty solid for a lot of the year. They've had some rough moments, but they had a really, really nice season. So certainly he's riding the wave of March, and I think when you're hiring coaches, that's a dangerous game. But man, you saw how that team played, and you see how he handles himself. I'm not surprised that was I'm sure Seton Hall, their search committee, probably talked for about 5 minutes before they were like, "This is our guy."
Was there more talk about your SEC coaching discussion or your French fry debate?
Oh,
it was about equal. I got to say, it's about equal.
So how do you feel about your rankings? I saw your number one pick was waffle, and then you went to curly. Is it waffle just because of a Chick-fil-A thing? Is it waffle in general? Like, take us inside the process.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A certainly, it's like saying that you love the West Coast Conference in basketball, but you're really just talking about Gonzaga. They're special up there, man. But ultimately, and I love the flavor of the curly fries. I had some last night, as a matter of fact. I think ultimately I'm just a texture man, and so I said on the podcast, if I can eat these fries in silence, something's wrong. Yeah. You need to be able to hear me eat these fries, and that is where I think that's a crowded group at 1 through 7 or 8 on my rankings before I eliminated wedges and steak fries and other trash. Ultimately, if it's got a little texture to it, I'm an equal opportunity potato enjoyer.
So looking at it, Andy and Ari both had steak fries in top 3.
Yeah.
You've got them in 10th. What's the issue there? Is it just because there's not a crunch to them? Is it just too much potato? Because I could argue there's too much potato in a steak fry.
There is a little bit too much potato. I think the lack of crunch is a problem. And just ultimately, Ari and Andy are just, they're misguided souls, and hopefully at some point they can find their way back to the light.
And see, this is the most Andy thing ever. Andy Staples, okay? This bothers me when I saw the word. What the hell is a tornado fry?
We haven't even discussed this, David, but I've seen tornado. I've been looking at it for an hour.
So I have actually not had these before, because if I'm going to a fair, I'm usually going to eat a corn dog or a funnel cake. But you've seen these. It's the thing, you go to a fair and it's like on a stick, and it's the little twisty, it looks like a little tornado, quite frankly. The twisted potato. They basically put it in that little spinny thing. I don't know what you'd call it, and then fry it up, and it looks delicious. But I feel like it's maybe hard to eat. And I'm just gonna get a funnel cake and a corn dog usually if I'm at the fair. So I've never actually had one, but I think I'd like it.
I'm going giant turkey leg.
Yeah.
At the fair as well before tornado.
Easy.
Why did Ari not have a 6th pick?
I think we just didn't get to it on the pod. I think we skipped over it. We were moving fast. Quite frankly, that show got delayed, and we were trying to move fast because we had a hard stop that evening. Ari actually, we had the show scheduled for 3:30, and Ari had an internet guy, and apparently his house is just not meant to have internet. Like, the way it's built is a mess.
Yeah.
So we had to put the show back to 5, and we were trying to hustle to get out of there.
Yeah, that trips me out.
You got North Carolina or Kansas tonight?
I think Kansas wins big. I understand why they did it, but you look after that game, North Carolina, it felt like they won the national title.
Yep.
Guys are running around, crying, doing all that stuff. I get why they're doing it. That's had to take a lot out of you. And you're playing again in 48 hours. Kansas, they just want to win a championship. They didn't really have a real emotional, difficult Saturday night. They coasted in that ball game. And I think North Carolina can be tough for them to reload. And then, again, North Carolina is not that great of a team. So they're getting hot here, and Kansas is a better team. They can be more prepared, and I think it's really hard after a difficult, emotional, meaningful game like that on Saturday to get back up. And, North Carolina's playing with house money as well. So I just think Kansas wins big tonight.
There are some differences, but you can definitely look at how Baylor got to the final last year as opposed to Gonzaga having to put all that energy in to beat UCLA, and you could see a similar scenario. I mean, Kansas just boat raced Villanova from the outset, and Carolina had to extend everything they had to get past Duke, and now you've got to get back up to play this one after the celebrations in Franklin Street nearly burning down on Saturday night. It does seem like a recipe for a Kansas win at the very least.
I think so. I mean, certainly North Carolina can win, but I don't have any doubt that I think Kansas wins this. I'm not sure it's going to be close.
I hope that's wrong. Either way, I want to see a good event tonight, but at least we got a great Final Four game. David, we appreciate it as always, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Indeed. Yeah, steak fries, and he called them trash.
Yeah, they're too meaty, and I'll eat them. But, if they don't come directly to you,
if they got soggy and stuff, it's like, nah, I'm good on that.
Why do I want this loopy potato? No, take this back.
Trash.
I do tend to agree that there needs to be a sound to my French fry eating. I've never thought about it that way. I don't know what my rankings would be. Luckily, we have a radio show.
I kind of really want to go through this now.
Well, we might do that. Instead of birthdays, we'll talk French fries when we come back. It's JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Hey, it's JMart. If you are noticing foundation issues with your home, then maybe you actually know what to look for. But maybe you're actually just seeing things that don't seem quite right. You're not sure whether or not it's a big issue or if it's just something that's not really something you should be concerned with. You don't know if it's doors and windows sticking or a basement wall that's bowing or cracks in your bricks or maybe your step doesn't seem quite level. Maybe it's just you. You don't know. But it could be a foundation issue. And if it is, that's a serious problem. But you've got to have the right people to diagnose. And by the right people, I mean people that you can trust to tell you what's up. USS is what's up. They've been in Middle Tennessee for over 25 years. Integrity and reputation is off the charts. Locally owned, not a franchise. Those are the things I tell you all the time. They're problem solvers. That's what they are. They're not going to create problems. They're going to solve problems, which means they're not going to come to your house and say, oh, this is horrible. This is going to cost you X amount of dollars, blah, blah, blah. A lot of times they're going to come out and say, hey, it's not that big a deal. We can get this taken care of for X, Y, or Z. Or they're going to say, right now, we don't need to worry about this. They're going to come out and give you a free estimate before you have to make a decision. That, to me, is worth everything because you're going to find out what's going on, and then you can make the call. And then the way they work is they get to work. Your pocket doesn't until you're done. Until they're fully done, they know you're satisfied. You don't pay a dime. Over 22,000 satisfied customers can tell you it's a phone call you should place because it's a place you can trust. Call United Structural Systems today, 615-227-2275. That's 227-2275 or online at usscn.com for United Structural Systems.
1045 The Zone's Spring Golf Classic, Monday, April 25th at one of Middle Tennessee's most prestigious private courses, Old Natchez Country Club. Tickets now extremely limited, so get your team together. Purchase a foursome now at 1045thezone.com. And for the first time ever at the Golf Classic, you can add some of our hosts and special guests to the proceedings, such as Titans legend Keith Bullock, also Titans wide receiver Nick Westbrook-Akina. All the proceeds going to charity. Find out more details at 1045thezone.com. Some of the sponsors involved: TriStar Beverage, Ace Handyman Services, Music City Autoplex, Volunteer Bank, Southern Trophy House, just to name a few.
Thank you, Maestro. Welcome back, JMart and Ramon, 1045 The Zone. Our thanks to David Ubben. If you missed that, podcast it wherever you get your podcasts. Interestingly, Bill Self saying that what the transfer portal does, it allows you to not take a step back when you have unexpected things happen during the season. The transfer portal allows you to fill in the gaps. Interesting that you would view it that way. But two guys that are very important to the transfer portal and are very important to their teams, and Brady Manick and Remy Martin are going to be on the floor tonight for Kansas and North Carolina. Ubben said Kansas big. My head tells me that's not far off from the truth because of just the energy and everything that Carolina had to deal with Saturday night. It's tough to think you can get them back to do it, but man, they are red hot right now. So
They are, man. What two cool names though? Remy Martin. What was it? Bobby Manick?
Brady Manick.
Brady Manick. Like Manick, Maniac. Like that's a cool friggin' last name to have. Not like Ramon Foster. I mean, you just get that and put it on the paper.
Yeah, so French fries. Do we want to save it for the top of the hour?
I want to do it at the top of the hour because
Okay.
I feel like we need to elaborate more on this.
The Athletic had 8 different college football writers, including David, pick the first round of the NFL draft. And if you're looking for Traylon Burks, they had him like 15th. If you were looking for an offensive lineman for John Robinson in round 1, Ubben made Tennessee's selection and took an offensive lineman.
Not a bad one, but it ain't what you want to hear.
Kenyon Green, offensive lineman at Texas A&M, says he moves
Guard.
faster than 6'4", 325. Can play inside, spend a lot of time at right tackle. Titans need help on the O-line, Ubben says. Decision may come down to Green or Bernhard Raymond, who goes a few picks later in this draft. By the way, 2-time All-American who can play a variety of positions, excelled for 2 seasons in the nation's toughest conference. Feels like a better bet than Raymond, an Austrian converted tight end for the MAC who hasn't played guard.
Ooh.
Green can find a home opposite Taylor Lewan at right tackle, but he's shown he can move inside if needed. That's major value, which means guard.
Yeah, he's a right tackle. You can move a tackle in. Most right tackles aren't overly athletic. They've become more athletic now, so it's easier if they're a marginal guy to move them inside, especially at 6'4". Yeah, he could play big on the inside. And I know what you're thinking almost if you're a Titans fan for the most part. We need weapons. You do, but I'll say this too, with the way this offensive line is right now, currently trying to figure it out. Say if you go in free agency, I was just telling Jay, offensive linemen now are expensive. Very expensive now to go free agency and get an offensive lineman.
Also, there's a ton of depth in terms of weapons in this draft.
Yes.
The depth is just, I mean, the amount of guys that you're going to see Pro Bowlers potentially come out of the second, third rounds of wide receiver. I mean, well, look, A.J. Brown's a perfect example of it.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of receivers in this draft. It's not the pick you want, though, just because you're going to remember 2 things. Isaiah Wilson,
Yep.
Dylan Radins.
Yep.
Even though Radins was a second-round guy,
Yep.
last thing you want is your guy picking another offensive lineman with the first pick because you probably don't trust him right now
Just
at
ain't
that
sexy.
position.
Yep.
Scouting, and it's not sexy.
Nope.
You said it, not me, but I agree. 615-737-1045. 737-1045. We didn't talk French fries because I wanted more time. We'll jump back into the headlines. Then we're gonna do the French fry debate here because apparently the Athletic decided they were gonna wade into this and do a top 10 rankings of fries. We're gonna do it. David Ubben said point blank, steak fries and other trash.
Love it.
Had them way down on the list. We'll have some fun with that. It's JMart and Ramon, 1045 The Zone. So glasses since second grade, contacts, tried them multiple times. They didn't work. I went to LASIK MD. They told me I was a candidate. I was. Unfortunately, I wasn't necessarily a candidate for basic LASIK in terms of what was going to be best for me. Yeah, that would have worked, but for how long? Could I have had something more effective? Well, I had a more in-depth procedure. It even required an enhancement 5 weeks ago. I went to LASIK MD on Thursday for my follow-up, my first real follow-up since the enhancement procedure, and I tested 2015 in my left eye. So I'm now seeing 2015 out of both eyes. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And so now it's even easier to tell you today's the day you should get on the docket by going to LASIKMD.com and schedule your free LASIK consultation. They're the best. They've done over 1 million of these. They did mine. Dr. Jayson Greenberg's done over 80,000. I had a guy Thursday say, "Hey, JMart, does he really come in here? Is this actually where he got his procedure done?" And the response was, "Yeah, he comes in here all the time. I usually am the one that sees him. It's a quiet appointment." People assume that I talk all the time. Nah, when I get out of here, a lot of times I just don't make a bunch of small talk in offices. But LASIK MD, it's comfortable. The procedure's virtually painless. And now I can say without a shadow of a doubt, this is the only place you need to get this done. The technology is advanced, but me being able to tell you that out of my left eye, I'm now testing at 2015. I didn't know that my left eye could ever even get to 2020 based on some of the issues I'd had earlier in my life. So I'm thrilled to thank them, first of all, and then to say, you need to go to LASIKMD.com and schedule that consultation. You've got no more reason to wait. It's never been more affordable. The tech's never been better. And I can tell you, seeing the world through these eyes is a special, special thing. So do it today, LASIKMD.com.
9:03, good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. Men's college basketball national championship game tonight, North Carolina versus Kansas. Tip-off set for 8:20. Our coverage, courtesy of Westwood One, begins at 6:30. Women's Natty yesterday. South Carolina earned the program's second national championship with a 64-49 victory over UConn. For South Carolina, they became the 8th program to win multiple national titles in women's college basketball in Division I. College baseball over the weekend. Number 1 Tennessee swept Vanderbilt, including a 5-0 win yesterday at Hawkins Field. Tennessee now 27-1 for the season, 9-0 in the SEC. It is the Vols' first sweep of Vanderbilt in Nashville since 2009. Tiger Woods says he'll be a game-time decision on whether he competes in the 86th Masters, scheduled to begin on Thursday. Denny Hamlin won in the NASCAR Cup Series, the Toyota Owners 400 at Richmond Raceway. And in a rare in-division trade, the New England Patriots have acquired Miami Dolphins wide receiver Devontae Parker and a 2022 fifth-round pick in exchange for a 2023 third-round pick. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo.
Fourth hour. Hashtag fastest 4 hours in radio is upon you, upon us. All Four Seasons Garage Doors is why we're here. Allfourseasonsgarages.com. Go there to learn all that you need to learn. And you know what to tell them. Yeah, JMart got the lift master. I'm tired of hearing him talk about it, so put it in my house.
Hey, yo. I'm not going to stop hearing about it either while
That's
we're
right.
at
I'm
it.
going to continue to tell you about it every single day.
Tell your mama about it, too.
I'm just trying to step your game up.
That's all we're here to do, Jay.
That's right.
Let's help out.
That's right. Zone TV, if you're hanging out there, we appreciate you. 615-737-1045 to reach ye old program. Final four. You got one good game Saturday. Tonight, are you going to get a good one? We'll find out. Late start, as usual, with the national title game, like 9 Eastern time, which is not necessary. But Carolina and Kansas. Heart tells me Carolina, head tells me Kansas.
Yeah.
I mean, the teams that they've beaten, if they can beat those teams, they can beat Kansas. Question is, how do you get back up after what happened Saturday night with all the energy? Vols, not going to have to worry about getting up for Vanderbilt, at least for right now.
Done with them.
Vanderbilt was still using the star logo, I noticed.
You saw it all over the field.
I saw it. I saw Corbin wearing it. I saw all the people in the dugout wearing it. I'm like, I see you pushing back on this nonsense.
I kind of feel like Corbin is almost of the belief, like, I brought us to prominence. I'm going to wear what I want to wear.
What are you going to tell Tim Corbin?
Huh?
Well, yeah, you should be like, whatever you say, sir.
Huh? Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir, Mr. Gardaki.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we're doing. Absolutely not, man. But it turned out to be a great series, it seemed like. Well, I'm saying this, of course, as a Tennessee fan. But they went back and forth. The controversy at the beginning of the game, hitting a home run. And that it was funny because that conversation had been coming up the last couple of years from – I didn't realize they were saying guys were shaving bats, and that's pretty wild, man. But Vol swept the series. I think 3HL interviewed Clark Lee this past Friday. They were at the game and stuff like that. So good series, man. It's good for the state. It's a lot of talent in this state of Tennessee for baseball, man. I follow some of the kids just watching their commitments and stuff like that, from East Robinson to Lipscomb to Ainsworth to all across the state, man. That game was a huge recruiting tool for sure this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like it's a fun place to be. Both programs are in good places. Tennessee is certainly taking some gigantic steps. Obviously, you got to see what happens when you get into the College World Series time, all of that. But for right now, you can't do better than number one in the country and sweeping last week's number one and then sweeping a Vanderbilt team that anytime you sweep Vanderbilt, that's something to write home about because it just doesn't happen very often. Even though this team doesn't have the pitching power that the last couple have had, and you can see that reflected. There's definitely a confidence in Tennessee right now that they feel like there's unfinished business perhaps from last year, and they want to prove last year wasn't a fluke, and it certainly was not. So that's all positive across the board.
And you brought up the point, though, of pitching power. That point you made, Jay, about this Vandy team doesn't have Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter. That changes the horse. It changes the mindset of a team almost. And I'm sure Vandy got some guys in their stable that they're trying to find ways to get to those 2 guys. But Tennessee is pushing out 4 guys and waiting on the 5th one to get back as far as coming back from an injury. And all you can say is, as long as you got pitching, and not just one guy, everybody got one guy. But if you can march up 2 on a weekend and get 2 wins out of 3, you're really pushing yourself into uncharted territory when it comes to being a real good team, especially in baseball. And not just for them, it's the idea that Tennessee bats are hot. Offensively, they play really well. Defensively, they made some plays that you just kind of just tip your hat at. And, again, I brought up the fact that Tim Corbin and Tony Vitello, after the game when the series was done on Sunday, they met each other at home plate after shaking hands, and they probably had about a 45-second to a minute and a half conversation, and it was, you can tell, very, very, very respectful. As disrespectful as the fan bases can get, and how people are talking about the Whistler this weekend. And it was good to see that be a part of the end of the game too, because it could go left. That the way Tennessee plays baseball right now, it could be.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
There's a cocky heel thing going on with Tennessee. So, but Corbin's way too classy to try and to see it as anything more than just this is Vitello's way of getting his team up. This is his strategy. It's different than the way Vanderbilt goes about it, but you just have to. Talent respects talent as well. And
that's all that is, Jay.
And I think that's it. It's easy to respect somebody that's doing such a good job. But to that point, I mean, I feel like you grip a lot harder when you feel like much more is on your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Duke ran into that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But when Ben was under center.
Oh, man, yeah.
It's a little bit different than when Mason Rudolph was your quarterback. In terms of how you felt, how the receivers felt. Every play's got to be better because Mason ain't going to do as much as Ben has for us. It's the difference between having Tom Brady and Jameis Winston a few years ago or whatever. It's just like, I think that's the pitching point. It's just there is a certain comfort level where the pillows are just softer.
Yeah.
And you're able to play more free because not as much is on your shoulders because you trust that guy not to give up 5-6 runs, whatever like that, and put you in a spot where you have to swing for the fences on every time you step up there.
And no doubt about it, when you got guys up on the mound the way Vandy has always had, defense plays a little bit better. You know where the spots are going to be because those type of pitchers always hit their spots, so where the ball is going to go where they want it to go. So defense plays a huge part in watching the pitcher do his thing up on the mound, and that's what kind of happened this past weekend and at here in Vanderbilt on the West End. So I think everybody won in a sense when it came down to watching this matchup. If you pay for those tickets, hats off to you. And I was a little upset about that too because I'm watching the game on TV. Okay, not in the stadium, which I wouldn't have been able to go Friday or Saturday or Sunday. But with that being said, it was a bunch of empty seats behind home plate. And I'm thinking to myself, just not going to go to the game after pricing them out like that? But what's that, Jay? Capitalism, right?
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It was a good event. It was well attended all weekend. Like I said, I got to watch all of Friday's game. Saturday between the Final Four and WrestleMania and doing my thing on the grill, there was not much time.
Yeah, my boy hit. By the way, it was perfect grilling weather this weekend too.
It was pretty solid. Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, I tweeted it out like, boy, if you're not hitting the grill today, something's off.
Yeah.
Something was off and you hit it and your daughter pretty much smacked you in the face too.
She could just hit me with a pork chop, man.
By the way, you brought that up, man. You grilled pork chops this weekend. I can admit, never grilled pork chops before. And truth be told, never actually gone to a restaurant and ordered the pork chop main dish.
I wonder if it's just because you don't like when you think of a pork chop in your head, you don't think it's big, right?
No.
Like, I want a steak because I want something substantial on the plate. But of course, if you get a filet mignon or something like that, you're getting something that's tiny anyway.
You are, and it just never registers to me to go to a restaurant and order a pork chop. Like it never thought about grilling one. None of those things. Last time I probably had pork chops, my mother-in-law made me pork chops around. It was around 2008, 2009, I think, is when she made, and that was probably my last time having pork chops. And only pork chops I had as a kid was probably fried or smothered. I never thought of them being grilled, brought out with an apple chutney or peach chutney. None of that registers.
The spread for us Saturday was center cut pork chops, chicken thighs, shrimp, fresh shrimp, and scallops.
See,
that I grilled all of and just made a big.
I thought you was making
protein
hibachi out
platter
of it too. By the way, I was like, okay, where's the rice? So the cauliflower rice on the side.
I could have.
Yeah, you could have made hibachi with that.
Could have done a lot.
Pork, like I need to know where to find the best grilled pork chop from a restaurant.
It's not like I don't know the answer to that question. I've had some good ones at restaurants.
It just doesn't register to me, Jay.
I get it. I mean, you look at steak, you see pork, you're like, that's nice. I'm gonna go back to the steak.
But I came here to the steakhouse for this. I'm making it a point next time to get an
extra side just in case, right?
Yeah, and see what if it's bad or dry.
Well, I don't think it would be dry.
I don't know now.
Not if you're paying big money for a pork chop. I doubt it.
I send it back.
You gonna be that guy? This unacceptable.
After eating half of it.
Yeah. 615-737-1045. That's the telephone number, 737-1045. We did not do the French fries.
Oh, we're gonna get to it. We're doing it now, right? Afterwards.
After, yeah.
Okay.
Not gonna do it now. We're gonna pay some bills right now. We'll be right back. JMart and Ramon, 1045 The Zone.
Imagine if the first way we did things was the only way and it just stayed that way for what felt like forever. Well, that's what happens when you sell your house. You list your house and you got to keep it show ready because you never know when somebody want to come by for a quick look. Or you have dozens of people marching through your home that may or may not be serious about buying. And this goes on and on until the right buyer comes along. Well, that's all changed thanks to Open Door. And it's Ramon Foster. And I want to tell you what I did. I went to opendoor.com and I put in my address and home info. And I got an offer back in no time. Open Door takes a look at your house along with recent sales in your neighborhood to come up with a very competitive offer and a real offer with no listings, no strangers, no stress, and a real competitive offer in minutes. Just go to opendoor.com/WGFX and get your free offer. Open Door is a new way to sell without all the hassles of a traditional home selling. You'll know how much you'll get, and you can close when you are ready, and you can do everything online. Go to opendoor.com/WGFX and get your free offer today. That's opendoor.com/WGFX. And offer eligibility varies, and Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokerage, Inc., license 02061130 in California, and Open Door Brokerage, LLC in its other markets.
JMart and Ramon, 104.5 is on. This is kind of wild. The Masters Pro Shop brings in $850,000 an hour.
What?
Does about $50 million in gross sales between Monday and Sunday. Because almost all the official merchandise exclusive to Augusta National. So that's the only place you're going to be able to get it.
God, dog. How many truckloads are they bringing in for it this week, man?
That is a lot, man. Now, there's a 65% markup on all that merch, too.
Well, yeah. Hold up. Say that again, Jay. How much an hour?
$850,000 an hour. Now, here's the thing.
If
you're at the Masters, you paid because it's one of the most expensive tickets. It's on my bucket list. It always has been.
I didn't realize that was a ticket.
But it is so expensive.
Is that something you need to look up on Ticketmaster, or you got to go to Golf
you
Digest,
can look,
or
but
what?
It's a pricey ticket.
I never knew that. Okay, I'm looking this up. I had no idea it was this expensive, and you had to get like tickets for this thing.
Masters in 2015. This is the most recently publicly available figure because they're pretty tight-lipped about what they get. They made $115 million in revenue in 2015 for that one tournament. $47.5 million in merch. $34 million in tickets. $25 million for TV rights. $8 million for concessions.
Okay, yeah,
But yeah, you see it now. But the article I'm reading, it's from a Substack, is that the Masters is leaving $200 million on the table because they make $0 in profit from domestic TV rights. Because of the way it's set up, they have this deal with CBS, and you have IBM, AT&T, and Mercedes-Benz that pay $6 to $8 million each in exchange for 4 minutes of advertising time per hour. And this used to drive me nuts because you would see that stupid thing that would be said, we're going to give you 56 minutes out of every hour of golf action. They tell you that every year because it's just those three sponsors, and that's it. So there's not a bidding war for advertising because it's been in the hands of the same companies the entire time.
Wow.
So you think of TV viewership and how it's grown and what you could get, what you would command, and they are definitely leaving money on the table.
Mm-hmm.
But they feel like that's fine. Of course, if they're making that much on merch and everything else, they're a for-profit place where a lot of these are non-profits. So that changes things as well.
Yeah. Dog, which is wild about the tickets for this too, as you was talking, I was looking this up, Jay. A lot of cash is going through Augusta, man. Thursday, actually, for this tournament, for the golf tournament, this is the competition round. Thursday kicking off at 8 a.m. To grounds, a row badge, $1,800 each. But what's crazy, the section of the grounds, I guess, is where most of the holes are at, $7,400.
Yep.
I had
told
no
you.
idea.
Told you. It's like a separate world, man.
And they got on here, resale ticket. You know exactly what you're getting yourself into. 2 tickets for this is, whew,
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
$3,500 each for 2 tickets. You trying to roll?
You paying?
We're going to have to sell
Yeah, I'll
blood
be
to
there.
get that. Sunday, though, the tickets go down a little bit more on for Championship Sunday, man. It's $2,500. I mean, $2,500 basically is the average price of these tickets for Sunday.
And we'll see what happens at the leaderboard.
So it's different. It's badge and then the row badge and there's row paper. Where's this at?
I'm not sure what the difference is, but yeah, there are.
But these tickets are all on the grounds, though, and I'm guessing you get up front. That's and you still got to fight and claw to actually see the action close up, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone to pro golf tournaments before, and I really enjoy them. It's a whole lot of walking.
Yeah.
And really, you just find a hole and stay there. You don't really follow people. Like, that doesn't work because then you are going to find bad spots because a lot of people camp at 16 or camp at 14. You watch everybody come through there. You can't see it all. But it's unique. Also unique is the Athletic doing these French fry rankings.
Yeah.
So Andy Staples, our guy, fresh cut number 1. David
Mm-hmm.
Ubben, who we had last hour, waffle fries. Ari Wasserman, standard cut. So let's just do this because I don't know how to rank them. I haven't sat here and ranked mine.
Me either.
Steak fry is not going to be high on my list.
No.
Over potato-y. Usually not crispy.
Tend to go bad fast.
Tend to go bad fast if they get cold.
And get cold fast, too. Okay. Or you recognize that it's cold fast.
Once they're cold, they're like slimy.
Up,
Nope.
up. And then
Nope.
if you undercook them or the grease isn't hot enough, and then they get that shiny grease look on them. So it's
Yeah, I
like,
don't
nah.
like that at all. Nah.
They can't drain properly if you get a friggin' steak fry.
Now, if you get one that's like browned,
Yeah.
get some of the just a little crisp to them,
Yeah.
they can be good. But there's a tough spot
Yeah.
in order to make that work the way you want to make that
So
work.
true. So you gave your worst of, okay, so I'm with you on steak fries. Another one to me, and I'm not sure where you sit on this. Shoestrings, low.
Now, shoestrings what are we talking about? Are we talking about McDonald's shoestrings? Or are
You
we
consider
talking about
them-
like, no, see, that's what I'm saying. Some people do.
No, I'm
Are
talking
we
about,
talking about like steak and shake?
yeah, steak and shakes.
Those kinds of things.
Yeah, those.
If they're smothered in cheese or something like that, they can work because it's kind of a different dish.
Still not a fan for me.
I would put them low on the list, too.
But because you can't properly eat those. Like, to me, it's like you either got to have a fork or like if you grab them, you're dropping fries.
yeah, fork is the answer.
But to me, it's like French fries is a finger food. Like, you can't be doing it. Shoestrings to me are almost pointless because then if they, depending on how they're cooked, they're also friggin' too hard. Like, you can burn the steak fries on it. I'm like, come on, man. The shoestrings. What are we doing here? Like, I understand the meaning of what you're trying to accomplish here, but I don't think that's a very productive French fry.
I think that one, and only Ubben has it mentioned in the top 10, sweet potato.
It's hit or miss.
I think it's either you like it or you don't. I generally like sweet potato fries. Undercooked, no. They've got to be very crispy.
That's where I was going. But see, if they're overly crispy, then you get in the burnt taste of just in order to have some crisp.
Schaefer just shook his head no about sweet potato
I just don't
fries.
like sweet potatoes.
Like a sweet potato pie is not on
I
your
am what I
holiday list.
am.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Ooh.
Nope.
What about baked sweet potato as a side?
Trash.
Trash?
Marshmallows on some yams.
With some brown sugar?
Trash.
Oh,
Really?
he really had the throw up face behind the glass.
What's the problem with sweet potatoes?
They're sweet potatoes. I just don't like them.
This is a
Do you
Western
eat
PA
pumpkin
guy.
pie? You eat pumpkin pie?
Yeah.
Okay.
You
Sweet potato pie and pumpkin pie are very similar.
You- Feel it?
I know, but I don't like sweet potato pie.
it's the idea.
I don't know. I can't explain it. It's not rational.
He's a Pennsylvania guy, and they're very particular about their potatoes up there.
I guess.
Where are you on steak fries?
They're horrible.
Okay.
They taste like feet. Rex Ryan told me.
Oh, I was about to.
Why?
That was my
Why?
fault. That was my fault.
I know you're wearing the violet, the strictly here for the violet
Y'all
shirt.
petty
But
as hell.
come on, man.
I know.
What else is on your no list, Shay?
In terms of the fries,
Mhm.
I still don't know what a tornado fry is.
Yeah, I don't either.
I've seen it
That's
now.
just Andy being Andy.
Big fan of the waffle fries.
Yeah. What about wedges?
No, it's too potatoey, kind of like
Steak.
the steak fries.
I like a wedge,
See,
but if it's one of the
Here's
blown
the
up
issue
wedges,
is
that's
that
too much.
Here's the issue is that the different cut of fries can mean something different to where you're from in the country. So like wedge fries to me and steak fries, while they're not the same, they're pretty similar.
Yeah.
They're not much different.
I equivocate wedge fries with like wings.
And see, I go more
Do
with
ya?
like the brand of fries, like Steak and Shake fries.
Agreed. We can do that
McDonald's fries.
separately.
That one I think is simpler to disseminate than the cut of the fry.
Yeah. I'm with you. You know what's a very underrated French fry and people don't mention it enough? Crinkle.
Yeah, I mean the old like golden crinkle Oritas that
Yep.
you would just put in the oven.
Yes.
Top 5 for me.
I still like those, man.
Classic.
Top 5.
Yep.
With some seasoned salt on them.
I'm used to like
perfectly
going to a hot dog place and getting those.
cooked. Crinkle fries.
You know what I'm
Agreed.
saying? Like a place that just sells like boiled, not grilled hot dogs, like a boiled hot
Yeah,
dog place.
yeah.
Like we had this place called Holmes Hot Dogs back in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Holmes closed at 3 p.m. every day.
Why?
We would roll to Holmes at 2 and make sure that they didn't have much to clean.
Yeah.
Give
Y'all
us all the
racking
bacon and
up.
eggs that you have.
I feel you, man.
But yeah, crinkles, as long as, again, and I think
Yeah.
this is just critical, period. You just can't undercook fries. They have to be on the verge of being overcooked to be where they need to be
Yeah.
on the crisp
With
factor.
the steak fries or the wedge fries, you might as well just get a masher and just mash them because it's basically the same thing. And if
Well,
you get them right
yeah.
off the stove hot, you're good. Right out of the oven hot, but
Once
10
they get
minutes
cold,
later,
they're not good at all.
they're terrible.
No.
Which one, steaks? I feel the same way about sweet potato fries, especially when they put them in waffle fry form. I think they can go bad really fast, and don't let them be cold. I'm not a fan. But you give me a sweet potato on the side, dress it up, cool. Not even a whole lot. The sweet potato by itself does it for me. But it just in general, when they make them in waffle sweet potato fries, I'm like they gotta hit.
How do we feel about tots?
Love tots, hands down.
I like tots.
Love tots.
I enjoy tots.
I'm talking
Tots and pears.
Again, depends upon the establishment.
Really?
Yeah.
Most
I also
tots
like
are
cauliflower
good.
tots now.
Never had cauliflower tots.
They're making them now.
Baked.
Like, I will
Yeah.
always have Sonic Tots.
Sonic
always.
tots hit.
Sonic tots are good. Yeah.
Always. Otherwise, it could be hit and miss.
Tots are always good with pears.
Most dive bars are really good with tots, though.
That's true. When the Flying
Gotta have my
Saucer
tots.
used to be open in town, they would have rocket tots where there'd be some jalapeno sauce on them, and they're fantastic.
But I don't like overdressing tots, though.
I just, if I'm eating tots, it's
You like
usually
naked
cheese
tots,
or
huh?
ketchup.
I do like naked tots for the most part, but hey, we'll throw some chili cheese on it real quick in a small portion only, though. Like if you put like brisket and salsa and guacamole,
Yeah,
Right,
down
so
with
if
it.
you go with the tots, but then you go with the crinkle cut fries, and that's when you can go cheese or the chili, or you can go ketchup. You can go anything with those two in a combo.
yeah, crinkle cuts with anything on top of them, I think are fire.
Yeah.
But I feel like the way the mash of the friggin' tater tot is, though, you'll just be eating some potato soup after a while, and I'm not a fan of that.
Again, it depends upon where you're getting the tots from.
What does fresh cut mean? Does that mean Five Guys?
Yeah, Five Guys. Oh, when Wendy's had it, but
I like a good fresh. I like a good fresh cut.
you gotta have them at the restaurant.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The Five Guys can get soggy.
I'm talking about fast and with malt vinegar too, by the way.
But a lot of times they are burning hot by the time, like when you get them.
Yeah.
So you've just got to deal with the fact that your heart may explode and just roll through them. And by the way, has anyone ever ordered a large fry from Five Guys and that been a good decision?
Nope.
Oh.
You don't realize because they're like, here's a small. We're also going to fill half the bag full of them. Also,
And don't like get to know the people in there too, because they'll just throw the extra in there like, dog, nah, man. I know this is America, but we not into this right
it's
now,
like, dude,
man.
I need to live. My daughter's almost 1. I want to see her 10th birthday.
I'll say this: since I changed my diet, one of the few things I really have missed is the Five Guys burgers.
Five Guys.
The fries I could give up a little easier, but I miss
Fries is my whole
After-
reason for going there.
For real? No, the burgers is A1.
Because I used to get a grilled cheese there when I went there.
Straight up.
Yeah. Now I get a burger.
One of their hacks also is you can make a grilled cheese burger there, which is too much.
Isn't that just a grilled cheeseburger?
Well, yeah. The way you set
Cheese
that up.
grill burger.
Cheese grill burger. Yeah.
Ham, no burger.
I think if you're going to Five Guys, this is just me. If you get the burger, you can only have a handful of fries.
I usually got the bacon, like the junior
yeah,
bacon
junior bacon cheeseburger.
burger there. And then I used to be just give me all the fries that are here.
Yeah.
Now I'll just eat more peanuts because they're just healthier.
See, that's why I would have a burger and a hot dog, but then no fries or no peanuts.
Oh, love, you doubled up like that?
Heck yeah! You kidding me?
Curly fries.
Yes,
I'm all in on curly.
Big
All
fan
in.
because they're almost always crispy.
Yep.
Now the curly fries or the seasoned curly fries.
What
because
about
those are-
curly or seasoned? Either one. Like
That's true because you can have
separated.
seasoned that are not curly as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will go seasoned curly fries.
I'm with that. So Arby's.
Yes, I love Arby's fries.
and Jack
Oh,
in the
yeah.
Box.
Jack in
I
the
like
Box.
Arby's fries a
I've
lot.
never had Jack in the Box, by the way. Am I missing out?
I mean, I've had it. It's fine.
So I got confused on the two because there's 2 Jacks out here now. Jack's and then Jack in the Box.
No, those are the same thing. No, there is a Jack's. I know what you're talking about.
See?
That's a different kind of restaurant, though.
Well, there's a Jack's Barbecue.
Yeah, I think there's a Jack's that's kind of like a
No, this place
Bob
serves
Evans
breakfast
or something like that.
Oh, I don't know about
and
that.
they're popping up everywhere. Apparently, they have a cold-blooded breakfast sandwich.
Huh.
Yeah, we don't. We're here too early to actually grab something like that. But Jackson and Jack in the Box, I thought was the same thing because they both have like the square emblem too. It's kind of weird. Like, how would you market that?
Yeah, I don't know. I need to
Didn't
look it up.
realize also that Rallies and Checkers was the same restaurant.
Yeah, well, if you see the logo, you can tell.
I know, and also who is it? Carl's Jr.
And Hardee's.
and Hardee's.
Carl's Jr. was a name somewhere else. Hardee's
Cali,
was a name
West
where I
Coast.
was from, and then Carl's Jr. is starting to pop more up, and Hardee's is starting to.
So
Seemingly, there's less Hardee's now than there used to be.
which one is more superior then?
I don't know. Back in the day, it was Hardee's for me when I was growing up. It was my favorite restaurant, like when I was a kid, because it's what we had in Martinsville.
Yeah.
I didn't really. I mean, McDonald's was there, but there was a Hardee's near our house, so we went there all the time. Plus, they had the California Raisins toys.
I remember those.
2 sets. The first 4, I just wanted the orange one. He had orange sunglasses and orange Chuck Taylors on. That was the guy that I wanted. That was the last one they put out. Then they put out 6 more of them like a year later. I got them all at my parents' house. That's how my life worked. Philip in Hendersonville. Philip, what's going
What's
on?
up, Philip?
Hey, guys, good morning. Hey, just calling, and I can only speak on Hendersonville Five Guys. But you got to get them extra crispy, and you got to get them with the Cajun seasoning. Have y'all tried that?
Yeah.
I've not ever had Cajun
You
seasoning.
definitely got to ask for extra crispy.
Yes.
Yeah, because they're just above raw.
What do they call it?
So they're SmackDown?
It's like they got them in the fryer long enough to get wet. That's it.
And that's not okay.
Oh,
That's
Philip.
not okay. But
I've never
they,
thought about asking for them extra crispy
you
before.
got to, man.
I
Because
didn't know we had that option.
when they throw them in the bag, if they're not extra crispy, you're going to be highly disappointed.
First off, that bag's it's going to eat through that bag.
Bag is
the
strong
level
as
of
hell.
grease is a problem. You could fit like massive NIL money in one of those in Knoxville. Chris is on line 3. Chris, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Hey.
My wife almost ruined fries for me. Bless her heart. My wife is always trying something new. So she said, hey, I'm going to fry some fish, and I'm going to make some home fries. So I'm like, yeah, baby, do what you do. No, she keeps everything else she do in the kitchen spectacular. This time, though, well, let's just say she failed. She was like Vandy against UT this weekend. She got swept in the kitchen. Didn't look good. So she brings a plate to me, and I'm looking at these fries, and I'm like, okay, I love the dip, so I'm going to try them. I ate them fries, and we almost got divorced. Worst fries ever. My God. Never get. We can get into an argument right now today over those fries.
What was the problem? What was the problem here?
Did she cut them too thick, too thin? Like, what was it, Chris?
I like thin fries on occasion. So she thought, okay, I'm gonna do thin fries. They like spaghetti noodles, man.
Potato.
And then she cooked them so long, I could have used them as toothpicks.
Ooh.
Oh,
Chris.
Tots.
With the
and
fish,
pears.
too? It ruined the main dish with some bad fries.
I choose violence.
That's cold blood. That's a conversation to be had. Has your significant other ever cooked something that you was just like,
If I was him, I'd be checking my dinner tonight. And
I feel like everybody
dog
would
test it
answer
out?
yes
Who's brave
if they
enough?
were under the heat
Yeah.
lamp.
Who's brave enough to admit it?
Not me, man. Abby makes perfect food all the time.
Oh,
What
my-
you're talking about.
Chris just told the world.
I've already said when I'm done here, I'm opening a coffee shop. She's making all the pastries. She's
Yeah.
an expert baker.
Yeah.
You guys know that.
Chris said it almost caused a
they're looking for help
divorce.
across the street, Jason. I told you last week.
Not my own shop.
Oh, I thought maybe you'd want to get away from the kid every once in a while.
Don't take him down that dark alley.
I had that moment Saturday. I told Moan this as we go to break. I had that moment Saturday where I was driving in and I parked the car Saturday night and I was just like, I don't think I want another one of these.
The fact that you said another one of these.
I hate it here.
It's like a large fry at Five Guys. It's too much.
Undercooked. Like Philip said.
I'm overcooked. Yeah. At this point in time. Extra crispy.
Well, that one picture of her where her eyes are so big she looks like Jack Nicholson in The Shining, I can understand that.
16 hours awake. Today she's going to sleep on the nanny. What? She's going to sleep on the nanny for like 30 minutes. At 2 o'clock, she'd be like, all right, Pops, hope you weren't planning on accomplishing anything over the next 4 hours.
Evil buck.
Also, I got a diaper for you. Oh. We'll come back. We will predict the national title game.
It's hot.
If you have thoughts on tornado fries, keep those to
tornado.
yourself. I don't have any idea. As Ubben was describing it, I still didn't really understand. I'm going to have to look it up.
I've seen them.
I thought he was just describing a curly fry.
Yeah, so did I.
That's
On a
pretty much.
stick. Like, why is a curly fry on a stick?
All food's better on a stick.
Everything
Jayson.
is better on a stick. It's JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. National title game tonight, Kansas, North Carolina. Coverage Westwood 1 right here on The Zone this evening. I wonder if we will be awake by the end of it.
That's the first thing I did. I breathed. I was like, oh, freaking 8:20 start. And it's going to be do they have longer half times also in championship games?
It's not like exceedingly long, but it's maybe a hair longer. It's just like, you know what you're getting into, and I've watched Mania the last 2 nights and been up. Of course, Saturday night I was going to be up late anyway, but
right.
Last night up till 11:30 and then trying to tiptoe around to make sure that I don't set off the grenade that is my 11-and-a-half-month-old.
The baby.
Because I know that once she's awake, that's an hour.
This is a wrap on
That's
the
an
house.
hour.
Yeah. The baby runs the show, man.
As it should be.
As it should be.
I understand that.
Man, we started having some deeper conversations about fries and places to eat, Jay.
Yeah, we have many topics we're going to get into. Ooh. We're going to become a Jim Gaffigan comedy special on this show over the next few months.
Pocket.
Yeah.
Hot Pockets.
So North Carolina, Kansas tonight. Again, my heart tells me North Carolina. My head tells me Kansas. Not because of the seeds, but because of the energy and what it took to get that job done Saturday night for those two teams. Do you ride that wave, or is it hard to match that?
I think it's hard to match. As much as they're going to say they're focused in and not tired, that game was very significant for a lot of different reasons. And even after the game, what time did the game end? Like after 10 this past weekend? Yeah, it was 10:30-ish. Because I remember the post-game show going into it, and I'm thinking to myself, they're not going to go to bed. They're college kids. They're young as ever, man. Celebrating, getting all the reactions from social media. Hubert Davis could have tried to get their phones and tell them, shut it down, curfew this. They're not. Even after games when I were playing, it wasn't even a big game. It take me about 3-4 hours to wind down. And then you got to shoot around, I'm sure, yesterday and today, and trying to balance all of that to lead up to the point. I didn't sleep the night before the Super Bowl, like barely at all. You know, because it's one game, and that's all they have. They've done everything they were supposed to do in the tournament as far as North Carolina goes. And at least for Kansas, they had time to come down. They were just watching and scouting the game.
And they were loving it because they knew how hard that game was for either one. They were like, oh, they're having to just maul each other to get through this thing.
So I'm with you. They're going to compete. I'm hoping it is a tight game. But I feel like Kansas, they understand the assignment a little bit more than what North Carolina does at this time.
I think they may have more left in the tank. I think it's more of that. And is Baycott 100%? I know he was riding adrenaline Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
And he says he should be ready to go tonight. If he's ready to go and he has another 20 rebound performance, that may do it.
Yeah, that's tough right
I just want to see a classic. I want to see a good one.
I got Kansas, though.
I think I do, too. I want to pick Carolina really bad.
Yeah.
I really do. But I think I'm going to go with my head and say Kansas, too. Hope to be wrong. No offense to Kansas, but I think the story is North Carolina in this tournament.
That's who you ride with, Jay. Nothing wrong with that.
So, Buck Rising's coming up next. He'll continue along these lines. I'm sure he'll talk about the college baseball as well. I wonder if he's in the villain shirt today.
You know it.
Could be. For Ramon Foster and Jonathan Schaefer, I'm Jayson Martin. Steak fries are trash.
Shoestring fries are trash.
We have more food topics tomorrow, and I guess maybe more sports as well. We'll see you tomorrow.
But remember, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.
We do not care.